The Cats' Joe Montford is on the rampage with a league-leading 11 sacks. In Hamilton, they stand on guard for a new leader, Ron Lancaster. The CFL on CBC and the road to the Grey Cup. It's the Labor Day Classic, the Toronto Argonauts versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ivor Wynne Stadium sold out. More than 30,000 fans are here. Hundreds have been turned away at the ticket office. It's game day in Hamilton with one of the most anticipated matchups of the season. Good afternoon and welcome back to another season of the CFL on CBC. Mark Lee along with the big guy Chris Walby, who's got the sweaty palms going just like the old days on the O-line in Winnipeg.
I tell you what, the crowd is electric here. If you can't get excited about this, you don't have a pulse.
How about the matchup? The Tiger Cats, the only remaining unbeaten team at home, but they haven't beaten the Argos in 7 straight games.
What a better matchup right now. They got spanked in Toronto. What a way to bring a team in right now in front of a full house, a sold-out house, and spank them in your hometown. It's going to be great.
And everybody is all eyes on the quarterbacking duo here today, beginning with the Argos, Kerwin Bell. He is 4-1 since coming back from a broken arm, and against Danny Mack in head-to-head matches in the CFL, he's 4-0. And very accurate. Danny McManus, though, up to his old tricks in the last 2 games, 5 interceptions in 2 games, but he's a leader, and he's got the Cats at 7-2 at the halfway pull. How about the defenders, Walby?
Well, let's talk about Joe Montford on defense right now. He has said that he will be in Kerwin's Bell face all day right now. He's going to go outside and inside because he doesn't feel that Kerwin's that fast. And on the other side of the ball, Kelly Wiltshire having a great second year. 7 tackles last week, 3 sacks by this guy coming off the corner. A force to be reckoned with.
All right, big guy, you've been scouting both of these teams pretty closely. How about your game notes?
Well, I think the biggest thing on defense for Toronto is to keep Hamilton guessing. Line up 7, only rush 3. It caused confusion for Danny McManus last time. On offense, stretch the defense. Go. When you get man-on-man coverage, throw deep. It opens up the middle for Mitchell. For Hamilton, they've got to establish the running game right now. Get Ronald Williams involved, and on defense, do a better job of jamming the receivers and disguising the coverage.
I hope you got enough left for the whole game. We got 3 hours to go here. And, of course, part 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader, the Battle of Alberta, the Stampeders and Eskimos. Both teams in a dead heat for first place at the halfway mark. And with more on that, here's Chris Cuthbert.
It's the silence before the storm in Calgary. 3 hours from now, McMahon Stadium will be jammed. Over 37,000 fans. The 6th sellout in the last 7 years for the Labor Day Classic between the Eskimos and Stampeders. Great to have Glenn Suter with us. And Glenn, this is a battle for first place, but it means a lot more than that.
It really does. This is bragging rights. I mean, this is one of the best rivalries in all of sports, and the reason for that is because this game is very important to the fans in Alberta and the fans here in Calgary. I mean, I was talking to George Cortez, the offensive coordinator for the Calgary Stampeders. He said back in 1992, when the Stamps won the Grey Cup, he was at a speaking engagement at the end of the year, and a fan came up with a real disappointed look on his face and said, "Congratulations for winning the Cup, but what happened on Labor Day?" That's how important this game is.
Yes, it's a standalone game. Now, the Eskimos are 6-3, and critics, if you're to believe them, think this is the worst 6-3 team ever, but they're starting to look a lot better, healthier, especially with our old colleague Dave Archer back at quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, Jimmy Kemp has done a nice job in relief of David Archer while he has got off that stomach injury, but David Archer will start this afternoon, and he said that since joining the CFL, there's 2 games that he wants to play in, the Grey Cup and Labor Day. He'll be here this afternoon, as will Tony Burris, which will help with the blocking.
And so will Jeff Garcia for the Stampeders, who have won the last 5 Labor Day Classics. So it's the Stamps and Eskimos following the Argos and Ticats right now. Back to Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
It's the first sellout at Ivor Wynne in 7 years, and it's actually in excessive capacity here today. Caroline Corey joins us on the broadcast, and she's right in the thick of it.
Well, that's right, Mark. Standing room only for people like myself here in the West End zone. That's where they had to erect 510 extra bleacher seats. They put them on sale Saturday. People lined up as early as 5 a.m. just to get their hands on them, and they sold out within 19 minutes. Tiger Cat fans obviously hungry for a win. They'd like to see their team get off to a quick start, and head coach Ron Lancaster agrees that that's a key to this game.
I think it's very important for us in this particular game to get a couple first downs early, even if we have to kick after that, but to make a couple first downs to show that we have the confidence to continue moving the football.
I think that's every coach's philosophy every time they start a game. Let's get some first downs and let's establish something. That always doesn't happen that way. And what I've learned is it's a 60-minute football game. What happens in the first 5 to 10 minutes does not have to be indicative of what happens the rest of the game.
Stay tuned to our broadcast because we'll also be following Mark McGuire's home run exploits as the Cards take on the Cubs. Mark?
All right, Carolina, it's a gorgeous day for football here along the shores of Lake Ontario. Temperature of about 22 degrees, a wind from left to right. The Cats won the toss, but they have deferred to take the wind in the second half. Paul Osbaldiston, who leads the league in scoring with 107 points, will kick it off here in the Labor Day Classic.
This is where it's going to start right now. This is where the contact starts. They want to get down there.
Steve Smith bobbles the kickoff. The ball back to the 5-yard line of the Argonauts. Smith heading to his own sideline, gets a block from Brendan Rogers, and has some yardage up to about the 25-yard line before he's ridden out of bounds. And there's a scrap already.
Well, you know the emotions are going to get high, and the big thing right now, Joe Montford, who's a star on defense, plays special teams, goes down and just gets KO'd by Brendan Rogers.
Kerwin Bell, who has been simply prolific. Here's the starting lineup on offense for the Argos.
Led by Willie Williams, the big left tackle. Great offensive line. Not as prolific as far as protecting the quarterback this year, but that may be because they say Kerwin does not as fleet his foot as Doug Flutie was last year. The receiving crew, the big addition, Nigel Williams, a big, tall target that can go deep.
First down. Bell with time, dumps it off to Pinball Clemens with a move here and there, and he's got 7 or 8 yards and a good pickup on first down.
A great job. It just shows you why Pinball's so slippery. Just makes one move, makes the man miss, gets up there. Here's the guys who are going to have to stop him, led by Gonzalo Floyd, having the best year of his career right now with 6 quarterback sacks. At linebacker, Calvin Tiggle's the key. Done a great job of stuff in the middle. He's going to be the one that's going to have to put the hurt on Pinball and stop him short.
Tiggle leading the
And of
Tiger
course,
Cats.
Rob Hitchcock, big game, has to have one here at safety right now because they're going to try and pick on him.
Tiggle with 40 tackles, #1 in that department for the Tiger Cats. Hitchcock with 3 picks so far, 3 safety. It's second down and a little more than a yard for the Argos with 4 men stacked in the eye, now motion to the right. Bell under the center, fakes the handoff to Pinball. It's a changeup, a nice pump play, and Jay Barker is in at quarterback and scrambles for the first down. That's what we see from time to time in the Argo offense.
And this is the reason that Donnie Matthews has Jay Barker in there on 3rd and short. They cover the receivers. Montford does an excellent job of picking the back coming out of the backfield. He wants to do a little short dump-off pass. Can't, has to scramble, has enough presence of mind to get the first down. That's what gives him the added dimension versus Kerwin Bell.
Barker, the rookie out of the University of Alabama, coming in on 2nd down and 1 and gets the first down for the Argos at their own 40-yard line. Bell back in the shotgun. There's a flag on the play as Bell goes over the middle, and it's complete. Dwayne Dimitration with the catch for the Argos, just shy of the first down, but as we mentioned, a flag on the play.
Well, it looks like it might be a little bit of a defensive offside.
Referee Glenn Johnson, his first season as a referee in the CFL, with the offside call against the Tiger Cats.
Offside, Hamilton, number 53. First down repeated.
So Joe Montford, who leads the Cats with 11 sacks, a little lined up offside, actually.
Well, he kind of jumped, and that's what happens when you get all your nerves going. All your quick twitch fibers are going right now, and he's trying to get in the quarterback's face as soon as possible, and he anticipates the count, and they caught him on that one.
So a break for the Argos with Jay Barker back in at quarterback. First down and 5. Again, the same I formation with 3 receivers flanked to the wide side right for the Argonauts. First and 5. This time, Barker hands off to Pinball, and he'll be held about 1.5 yards short, stacked up by Orlando Steinman.
Great job by the front 4 of preventing him from coming straight up the middle. He runs it off tackle, and they got good team quickness. Track him down from behind, make the play, keep him short.
Pinball Clemens with 416 yards rushing coming into the game. He's getting the handoffs that Robert Drummond got last year, and the Argonauts are now predicting he has a chance at that 1,000 and 1,000 season. 1,000 yards on the ground, 1,000 yards in the air.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Barker remains at quarterback, second and short, a little more than a yard. The ball at their own 48-yard line. The rookie hands off again to the Pinball. He's stuffed by Justin Ring right at the line of scrimmage. and this will be close.
Again, we're talking about penetration. They do a great job of penetrating in the front, getting under the offensive line, creating an opening for the linebacker, Justin Reen, to come in and make the play one-on-one. Trying to hold pinball, but his forward progress just got him enough for the first down.
And so it's first down at the Argo 50-yard line. As Kerwin Bell comes back in, the Argos shuttling their quarterbacks early in this contest.
Anything they can do to create a little confusion on the defensive side for Hamilton.
Kerwin Bell passing in excess of 300 yards in his last 3 games. A straight drop back passer. This time he's right on target in first down territory. Nigel Williams drops the ball. And it'll be an incomplete pass, much to the chagrin of the sellout crowd here in Berlin.
Well, I don't know about that. He caught the ball, took a couple steps, got hit. I know there's a rule, you got to hold on to it. As we see Pinball Clemens down, obviously in pain, away from the play.
And that's not a good sign for the 10-year CFL veteran. Clemens still down. Clemens getting assistance from the Argo training staff. And we will come back to ascertain his condition here at Ivor Wynne, scoreless in the first. Back in Hamilton, where Mike Clemens got up under his own steam and got back to the bench, but you see the training staff sheltering him. He took what looked like a terrific hit on the head. Here's another look at the incomplete pass to Williams.
Well, you see him coming across right now. He makes the catch, he gets hit. This is a tough call right now because there is a rule, if you take a couple steps with it, it is a completion.
Incomplete, 2nd and 10, Argos at their own 50. Bell in the shotgun. Wright has some time. This time it's incomplete again to Nigel Williams with Eric Carter draped all over him.
And an excellent job of Eric Carter, but you also got to give Nigel Williams has to catch this ball. He runs a nice route. He's got good depth, good first down yardage, comes back to the ball, makes the right move, but Eric Carter closes so quick, breaks his concentration, hits him, can't catch the ball. You can see it coming right for now. He's coming back to the ball. It's a great job of Eric Carter getting his hand in there, not allowing Nigel to come down with the ball.
Williams burned Carter in the Hamilton defense for 3 big gains for more than 150 yards 2 weeks ago at the Skydome. Noel Prefontaine with a big leg. Punting for the Argos. Deep down the right side. Bobby Olive has it for Hamilton and doesn't have much room as he's piled on at his own 20-yard line. A 44-yard punt from Prefontaine and a 5-yard return, and already there's O'Shea, the Hamilton native, scrapping with Dan Pronick. Danny McManus coming in at quarterback, checking his ready list. McManus, as we mentioned off the top, has thrown 5 picks in the last 2 games. He has not seemed to have his touch.
Well, it's going to be up to these big boys up front, led by Carl Coulter, the center. These guys have got to give him some time right now to get a rhythm. He's been out of rhythm for the last 2 weeks. He needs to find the rhythm. These guys are going to be responsible. Ronald Williams, mentioned him earlier in the show, has got to have a big game. They've got to use him. He's big. He had 1,000 yards rushing last year.
Ron Lancaster telling us part of McManus's problems has been a sweat problem created by Carl Coulter, his center. He sweats so much, he said, that whenever McManus gets the ball, it comes up slimy. He can hardly throw it.
Well, I don't know if Mrs. Coulter will love you for saying that, but yeah, it's one of those things when you're a big man, you do have a tendency to sweat a little bit, and obviously that's what happens. Now here on the Argonauts side, about Demetrius Maxey, talking to the guys before the game, is having just a sensational year. 3 sacks, but 20 tackles already. Of course, the ever-reliable Michael O'Shea in the middle makes things happen, both here and on special teams. And the defensive backs with the newcomer, Clifton Abraham, who's really making a presence on that corner.
Abraham and Capers, both out of Florida State rookies, and McManus connects on a short dump pass over the top to Ronald Williams, but it will be short of a first down, and the Cats will be in a punting situation.
Well, they're giving him short little routes to dump off right now, and maybe that's good for Danny just to get a rhythm of at least completing the passes right now. But a great job of Kelly Wilchard coming back, reading it, and closing on the ball, and just a nice shot right here. Here you see him make a play. Good tackle.
Osbaldiston back to punt, an average of 43.6 yards. There's some movement along the Argo defensive line. Ozzie with a line drive into the wind, taken by Steve Smith at his own 42. Not sure where to go and is finally smothered by the pursuit of the Hamilton special team. No return on the play for the Argos on a 44-yard punt from Paul Osbaldiston. Still scoreless in the Labor Day Classic at Ivor Wynne.
One of the things you're looking at there's big old Paul Osbaldiston. I tell you what, having a great year. Take a look at this. We got some jowls here, a little bit there, but look at this is the big difference right there, before and after, and I think it's reflected in his kicking. He's 85% on field goals as opposed to 57 last year.
Ozzy has dropped 25 pounds since last year, and he'll be glad to know that you pointed that out.
That's a small wallaby.
First down is the Argos, who have been terrific in the first quarter, yet to get on the board. Bell with lots of time tries to dump it off to Steve Smith, but he can't find the handle. It'll be 2nd and 10, and Bell took a lick on the play from Mike Philbrick.
Now, you know what I'm seeing right here is excellent coverage by the cornerbacks on the receivers going over there right now. But you're right, Kerwin Bell's taking some shots right now, but he also said he'll stand in the pocket because he believes it's not before the last second that something may come open. In that case it was, but unfortunately the ball was dropped.
There are his stats so far this year. He says that if he's 3-1 in terms of touchdowns and interceptions, he's bang on, and look at those numbers, 11-4, virtually 3-1 so far in 5 games. He's a drop-back style passer, some say, with the mobility of a potted plant, but he's accurate, and he is on that play as he hits Paul Masati over the middle for a first down. Tagle with the tackle.
Well, one of the things I found interesting talking to Kerwin Bell yesterday was he said that on every given pass situation, they have 3 variations of the route. That's a lot of things for any quarterback to remember, but also a lot of variations for the receivers to run.
Masati, who is about 100 yards off his pace from last year. He's the one low man on the totem pole in terms of pass distribution on this Argo offense, with most of the passes so far going at Derek Mitchell. There's Masati, the veteran, the Hamilton boy. Loves to play back here at Ivor Wynne. Bell to the left side. It's complete again. And it looks like another Argo first down as Daryl Mitchell, his favorite target, catches the ball across the 45 to about the 42-yard line of the Tiger Cats.
And you can see just one-on-one coverage. He's going up the field. He pushes him off, pushes Greer, comes back to the ball. That's something you just can't teach a receiver. They have to know it, and that's obviously been ingrained in his brain because he keeps coming back and making great catches
Major
like
foul,
that, shielding the ball away.
Unnecessary roughness, piling on. Hamilton, number 22.
Well, there's a killer. A first down for the Argos, and then a piling on penalty to Steinauer for the Tiger Cats, and it moves the ball all the way to the 27-yard line. The Argo offense virtually on par with the one operated by Doug Flutie at this point last season.
Except you notice the passing game, they are far out doing it than they were last year. He's throwing for them.
Kerwin Bell says an accurate passer will beat a scrambler every time. Was that a direct reference to Flutie? Here he is again connecting with Daryl Mitchell, and Mitchell was taken out of bounds at the 12-yard line by Frank West.
And this is what he's looking for. He's got guys going deep, and they're clearing out. We talk stretch the defense. He stretches it, and he just runs Mitchell underneath, and this is what you want. Just a little pass right here. It's about a 10-yarder, but he's running across. He's got to be covered. Frank West is trying to trail him, but when you're in a trail position, all you can do is tackle after that and keep him out of the end zone.
Crossing patterns killed the Tiger Cats 2 weeks ago in that 42-6 drubbing at the Skydome. It's first and goal from the Hamilton 7-yard line. Bell in the shotgun. He's been simply perfect. This time going deep for Nigel Williams, but double coverage on the play, and it's incomplete.
And I'll tell you what.
Look at that. Bell lost his helmet. Looked like he took a cheap shot.
Well, there's no flag on the play. Does a great job. Let's just watch this as he comes across. You'll see Jeff Cummings comes in after he releases the ball. This is a late hit. There is no question about this. This is a human burial. There should have been a flag on that. And I know you're excited, Jeff Cummings, but you're lucky to get a 15 and cost your team a penalty.
No call on the play. It'll be second and goal. Argos at the 7. After Cummins pancake Bell all 270 pounds worth. Here's Bell. Straight drop back. Going into the end zone. And it's incomplete again. Hit the goalpost. Looked like he had Andrew English open. And Bell still looks rattled after that piling on that didn't get called.
Well, that's the thing you're going to have to do. I mean, no coach will ever tell you to take a cheap shot. but you want to get into his face. You want to let him know you're around him all the time. Here we can see the pass right now. He is going deep, right off the right upright. The coverage was excellent still, though. I don't believe that would have been a caught ball.
And so the Argos will attempt a field goal as we take one more look at that inadvertent pass by Bell. It will be a 14-yard attempt by Arik Bigos with the unusual face mask. Looks like an old Russ Jackson mask. He's so far 8 for 8 since joining the Argos on August the 9th. It's wide. The first time in Bigos' young CFL career, and there's Eric Carter reinforcing the point.
Well, I think what happens here is you cursed him. You started making fun of the kid's face mask. He probably hasn't slept now. But you know what? It had to end anywhere. He was 8 for 8. He had to miss one, but you can see right now, almost deflected by Carter. Well, just pushed a little bit left.
You got to wonder if Eric Carter influenced the concentration of the 3-time OUAA All-Star from the University of Waterloo.
Well, you can look before, when Prefontaine was kicking field goals, they were 43.5%. They're 100% till that kick right there, and he's increased their point average to 39 from 21.
In the game against the Tiger Cats 2 weeks ago, he had to kick a field goal 3 times in a row. I think he started from about the 25. A penalty against the Argos forced them back to the 35. Finally, he was at the 47 before he finally got one that counted. 3 straight field goals, and Bigos has been simply perfect until now. His first kick in his first Labor Day Classic is wide. First down. Tiger Cats at their own 25-yard line. McManus with the handoff to Ronald Williams, and he has 4, maybe 5 yards as the Cats go to the run game, which you think is so important in this one.
Well, you got to go to the run game for the first point, and that is the fact that the O-linemen do not want to sit in that pass pro position all day. They want to get out there, play a little smash mouth football, let the people know they're here for a game, get across to that guy they're playing against, and try and knock them on their can. Ronald Williams, 5'10", a big horse at 210 pounds, but the big thing, you know, when you give him the ball, he produces. Over 1,100 yards rushing last year. You got to make him a part of your offense.
Cast off by Jeff Reinbold and the Bombers last year after some trouble with discipline. Here's a quick pass to Archie Amerson, and first down territory for the Cats as Big Mike O'Shea makes the tackle. And there's a flag on the play.
Well, this is a nice play. I tell you what, they're starting to read the defense. See, Toronto's trying to do the same thing they did last year. They're offside, but they're lining everybody up and trying to make Danny guess how many are coming. On that play, he's just shooting the back out to the flat, hitting him with a little pass.
Offside. Toronto, number 94. Penalties decline. First down.
Call goes against Todrick McIntosh, the rookie, on the D-line for Toronto.
And he just lined up offside. That's just simply one of those there right there where his head's across the line of scrimmage.
McIntosh, his NFL career ruined when he had a thyroid problem that cost him 30 pounds in just 3 weeks, but he's got that under control, and he's come back to football in the CFL. Another quick pass over the middle. It's Darren Flutie, Danny Mack's favorite target, and again O'Shea makes the tackle, but right now in this second series for the Cats, McManus has the short passing game going.
And one of the things that Ron Lancaster said was important was they get early in the game, they get a flow and start moving the ball. Not that they score right off the bat, but they get a couple first downs put together to get them some confidence, and that's what's happening right now.
Second down and 2. The ball on the Hamilton 44-yard line. Darren Flutie, 8 seasons in the CFL. With that catch, he has replaced Tony Gabriel, 7th in all-time receptions. And there's one that goes in and out of the hands of Mike Morreale. Some shoving with Abraham taking place in the secondary.
Well, the biggest thing here is I'm going to tell you is there's a mistake here. Obviously, when Morreale and Amerson are crossing and they're right beside each other where the ball is thrown, you can see there's 2 receivers right there. They should not be in the same part of the field. One of them is running the wrong route, and that will cost you sometimes because the ball will be tipped. And obviously, when you have 2 receivers, you also have 2 defensive backs or 2 of the opposing players there. More chance for a pickoff.
Punting situation for the Cats as Steve Smith is deep for the Argos. The lone man back at his own 20. A promising Hamilton drive, short-circuited near the midfield mark. Another flag on the play. Looks like procedure against the Tiger Cats.
Yep. Outside end on Hamilton lining up.
Big
the
Jeff
defense
Cummins
can move. but the offensive guy's got to stay set. He started moving on defense. The offensive guy came out, moved a little bit.
Legal procedure. Hamilton, number 86. Third down.
Trevor Shaw lined up on the outside. You can see him right here. He just moves before. You cannot react to the defense moving.
And so that'll put Osbaldiston back at his own 25 now. Steve Smith moving up to his own 30. Lots of time and a shank from Osbaldiston. Drops about the 35. It's bobbled by Smith, and he's hammered by Cooper Harris at his own 37-yard line, and there's more bad blood. Another flag on the play. A 36-yard punt and only a 2-yard return by Smith. And tempers continue to be right on the edge here in this Labor Day Classic. No score. Argos and Cats in the first quarter. A costly penalty, unnecessary roughness to Mike O'Shea on Steve Smith's return of that Osbaldiston punt, and that puts the Argos deep in their own end.
Well, you know, it's only his third game, and you know, when you have a lot of first-year players, the pressure's going to be there. You can play it like it doesn't bother you, but he's nervous and he's tight. We'll have to see what happens next time he gets the ball.
Looks like O'Shea hit Dan Cronick from behind late on that play. The Argos will scrimmage first down at their own 23. 30,000 Ticat fans getting into this one. Here's Bell with time. He's got Dimitrition wide open and Tiggle with the tackle. A gain of about 5.
Just a great job of getting in your zone by Tiggle, reading the line, or running back coming out. Dwayne Dimitrition finds the seam, and a nice job of Tiggle closing and making the play and limiting it to 5 yards. You see Kerwin's looking, he's checking off. Usually the running back is your last check. Does a nice job.
Dimitrition, the Saskatchewan product with sure hands. Tiggle, number 1 in tackles for the Tiger Cats coming into this game. Kerwin Bell with time. Dumps it off to Andrew English. He tries to negotiate for the first down. It'll be very, very close as a host of Hamilton tacklers put a stop to him.
Well, you got to give credit to where credit's due, and the offensive line of Toronto right now is giving him some time to throw the ball. See, he makes a nice catch right here. Grab, tackle, swarm. See Kerwin Bell's checking. He's doing about 3 checks right now. Nice presence of mind to find Andrew English on the outside there. Makes it close.
It's going to be close, though, on the measurement. Looks like it'll be third down Argos. And Jay Barker is coming back into the game as the Argos will go for it on third down. The ball on their own 32-yard line.
Well, Matthews has always been a gambler, and I think when you got a guy with the amount of athletic ability as Jay Barker, you're going to go for it.
Matthews saying he was so relaxed, if he could buy a ticket, he would have, and he'd sit up in the stands and watch this one. Everything, he says, the homework has been done.
And he couldn't find a ticket, so he said he might have to steal one.
Third down gamble. The fans now rousing the Cat defense. Inches to go. Barker at quarterback. Fakes the sneak, rolls left, and fooled the Cat defense for the first down.
That is a great play, and the last time I used to see a quarterback do that was Matt Dunnigan. He knows that all the defensive linemen are lined up between the tackles. You can see everybody's in between the tackles. He just takes the ball. It's predetermined. He's going to the outside. It's going to be up to the linebacker to fill. Hitchcock comes up from the safety position. Stops him, but not before he gets a first down.
And so it's a first down on that gamble by the Argos. At their own 35-yard line, Barker, his work done. He's been efficient so far in the first quarter. Bell handing off to Pinball Clemens. A gaping hole through the middle of the Hamilton defense, and he'll have at least 6. And once again, it's Kelvin Tiggle with the tackle.
Well, one of the things that happens when you're only rushing 4, it's just like when Toronto was doing to Hamilton. You want to run the ball. It's a good call by Kerwin Bell. He just hands it off. Pinball's got great vision. Not only is because he's only about a foot off the ground, but he's just got great peripheral vision. He's the Wayne Gretzky of the football field.
Clemens shaking off the effects of that head shot that sent him to the sidelines a few plays ago, and back in the game for the Argos. Tiggle calling the signals on the Hamilton defense. And a timeout on the play. Kerwin Bell heads to the Argos sideline to confer with Don Matthews. Now, Bell calls his own plays.
Yes, he
for
does.
The Argonauts.
And so when he calls his own plays, he has his own power to make audible situations. Obviously, he saw something he didn't like, or that one of the players wasn't where he should have been lined up. It looked like him and Pinball were having a little discussion.
We get on the headset to offensive coordinator John Jenkins, who loves the fact that Bell loves to throw the ball deep.
And you know, one of the things that people say is you only get one timeout a half. Why use it now? But I think it's a smart move when you're in your own territory, rather than force something or make a mistake that gives the other team some, some momentum. So I think it's a good call by Kerwin Bell. You can see right up here, there's Jenkins. Right up here, that's the offensive coordinator right now, and they're going over some stuff to make sure they're on the same page.
Kerwin Bell has certainly picked up where Doug Flutie left off. A lot of people wondered what the Argos would be like without Flutie this year. Bell, who is a straight drop-back NFL prototype quarterback, says that his vision and his ability to throw accurately can make up for his inability to scramble. Here's Bell now rolling right. Finds Daryl Mitchell open, and he'll have the first down at the 47-yard line. Reggie Love running him out of touch.
Just a nice job again by Kerwin. Coming back right here, you can see him. He's just going there, runs out, throws to the outside. Reggie Love has to close on him. The biggest thing that's scary about that situation is if the ball is thrown a little quicker, Mitchell catches that ball in flight, and then it's a chase between him and Reggie Love.
Mitchell coming into this game with 80 receptions. The CFL record for one season is 126, held by Alan Pitts of the Calgary Stampeders. That is well within reach, as he has 3 more here in this game already. Here's Bell. Some pressure from Montfort. Bell off his back foot. It's picked off. Derek Greer has the ball for the Tiger Cats. But is he ruled out of bounds? Yes.
They're ruling that he juggled the ball and did not have control of the football on the interception.
And so a break for Kerwin Bell.
Take a look right here. You can see. Now watch where his feet are. This is the big thing we want to see too. They both come inside. Oh, that's a close call. He had the ball and he dropped it as he went out.
In the CFL, you only need 1 foot in bounds. Looked like he got 2.
And he had control of the ball till he hit the turf. And I don't know. I think that's a tough break for the Tag Cats.
Hamilton, number 77.
Mike Philbrick called for unnecessary roughness, and now Ronnie's in a rant.
Well, that's unbelievable. First off, you get an interception taken away. Secondly, you end up getting a 15-yarder for roughing. Hand it to Mike Philbrick. So not only have you lost that, but you've also given Toronto instant field position.
There's Montfort with pressure. Bell throwing off the back foot, and that's a questionable call. Cummins coming in right as Bell released the ball.
Whoa, I don't know. I mean, last time I could see it, that one was a little close.
So the Argos keep the ball. First down at the 48, and there's a flag on the play. More shoving. Chris Giaskis shoving Obi Spanik.
Well, this is something you're going to see because, I mean, these two teams, they hate each other. It's just pure emotion out there right now. It's a street fight, and that's what you want to see.
Ron Lancaster worked up after that call against Cummings, which really hurts. It'll be 1st and 15. Offside Argos. Scrimmaging at the Hamilton 53-yard line. Bell, pressure, dumps it off to Daryl Mitchell, and Mitchell is tackled by Frank West as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10, Argos.
Just a great job. I mean, they use Mitchell in everything. First off, they give him around the season. Now he's coming right now underneath. Little pitch right now from Kerwin Bell. This is something, the shovel pass they usually use with pinball, but with his great athleticism, they give it to him. Great job by Frank West following him down the line and making the play. You can see Tiggle skating down the line right now. They're taking himself. There he comes.
And you see Bell always waits to the last possible minute before making the play. He says quite often that's when it opens up. He took another shot from Montfort on that one. 2nd and 10. Bell downfield to Nigel Williams. He can't find it. He takes a shot from Eric Carter as the ball sails over his head.
You know what? A lot of people say, where's the flag for that? Hey, this is a football game. This isn't touch. The receiver's around there. He's in your territory. Let him know he's in your territory. He's on your home turf. Give him a smack. He'll think twice about coming in. Watch this right now. You see right there, he gives Nigel a little welcome home, baby. Don't relax here because you're going to have somebody in your face the whole day.
And so the Cat defenders, the #1 secondary in the CFL, shutting down Nigel Williams in the rematch after he beat them for 152 yards in Game 1 2 weeks ago. Miguel Prefontaine with another line drive squibbler taken by Steiner at his 15, finally drilled at about the 17-yard line. So bad field position for the Tiger Cats on this series. A 7-yard return by Orlando Steinauer after a 39-yard punt from Prefontaine. And still scoreless after 1/4 of the Labor Day Classic at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
All right, fans, the UPS special delivery guy is on his way to Fox.
He is done, and still no score between the Argos and Tiger Cats, and it's hard to believe the Argos haven't put a point on the board when you consider in that first quarter they had the ball for 11 minutes. Here's another look at that cheap shot by Eric Carter.
Well, you know, it's one thing for a team to be excited as you see Eric Carter give a cheap shot to Nigel Williams. Watch Cummings come inside here on Kerwin Ball, and just, we're talking, not only hit him, but he's trying to drive him into the turf. Now, it's one thing to be excited, but you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation where you take penalties, bad penalties at that.
First quarter stats, no points on the scoreboard, but as we mentioned, time of possession favoring the Argos, 11-14. The Cats have only had it for 3:46. And how about the rushing yards? Only 5 from the Tiger Cats. You said off the top they've got to get a ground game going because they usually win. In fact, they're 5-0 when they have more than 100 yards rushing. McManus, first down, wide side of the field, and it looked like Darren Flutie was open, but he couldn't get close to the pass.
Yeah, we talked about running the ball, but they only ran it one time. If you want to look at the positives out of those stats we saw, last time they played, Hamilton did not have 1 first down in the first quarter, so at least they're 1 ahead of time.
Jeff Cummins happy to be finally playing on a winning team in the CFL. He went through those tough years in Ottawa, had some time in Las Vegas and with the Argos before they got hot.
Well, he's a tough-looking character right there. I'm telling you right now, he's got the new haircut going.
Second down and 10. Maxey eyeing McManus. McManus throws to his favorite target, Darren Flutie, and it'll be close to a first down. Flutie is drilled by Antonius Bonner at about the 27-yard line.
Well, just a nice job by Danny. He's looking for Flutie all the way, finds him open. Flutie has a presence to get up north, get a first down.
Brother Doug, of course, playing with the Buffalo Bills last night in a 16-14 defeat to San Diego. Flutie, though, with 2 passes for touchdowns to Andre Reed, and he is in attendance here today at Ivor Wynne watching his brother. Dump pass to Ronald Williams with a head of steam. Tries to elude Kelly Wiltshire, but he's dragged down for a short gain. Fakir Brown, the rookie out of Grambling, with the tackle and a gain of only 2 yards.
Nice job, and this is what you got to do. Not only get him involved in the running game, but get him involved in the passing game. He makes a nice cut, but Fakir Brown makes a nice job. That's a form tackle when you wrap up both ankles like that. That's an excellent job. That's an excellent job by the rookie from Grambling.
The last 2 games, you can see that Danny Mack has been grounded half of what he normally throws. Only Air Canada has been on the ground more than him. More flags in the play. Looks like offside as McManus goes down to Bobby Olive. He's got the ball at center field. And McManus is not happy.
And this is something that I like to see. We were talking about this in the press conference yesterday. Danny is so level-headed, so even-keeled. You're seeing some emotion coming now.
Cats, look at that. Offside. Looked like their slot back was 2 strides over the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped.
And that just...
24. Second down repeated.
Now they're calling offside against Todrick McIntosh. And Ron Lancaster is once again making a case to the officials.
Wrong. You either call it consistent or don't call it, but it can't be both ways.
Well, Ron will make a little assumption that they're not calling the penalty the same way for both teams there.
It looked like the receivers for the Ticats were clearly over the line as Ronald Williams is down for the Tiger Cats and it looks serious.
Well, I think this is a big blow. I mean, this is a big workhorse. This is a guy you want to get in the game. We talked about him earlier. He's got one run, one pass. They can ill afford to lose a big guy like this.
Looks like his knee. Ronald Williams writhing in pain on the field here at Ivor Wynn. Still no score.
It was
the Tiger Cat medical staff still attending to running back Ronald Williams, and they've got the cart out, and that's always
this is
a
not
bad
a good
sign.
thing. You can see him right up there. He's just running, and he's pulled it right off right there. And when you're grabbing like that, it's serious, because sometimes the muscle will tear off your bone, and it's an excruciating, painful situation. And they're being very gingerly when they're loading him on that cart right now, and that's still not a good sign.
Williams, a big man at 210 pounds, 6 feet 1 inches tall out of Clemson, and he's really upset. When you see that, you got to wonder how serious it really is.
Well, you know, having the misfortune of having to travel on one of those carts myself one time, it's a terrible feeling. You just feel like you can't do any more. You're praying that it's not something serious. And you know, it's just, you don't know, because it could be the end of, it could be, you know, God forbid, career ending.
I hate to remind you, that's exactly the way you went off your last game ever in the CFL.
That's right, and I can, you know, I can sympathize with it, and I can only say I hope it isn't as serious.
And so Williams goes after the Ticat Clinic. A capacity crowd of more than 30,000 here watching this stalemate so far early in the second quarter. No score. The Tiger Cats and Argonauts, 12:56 to go in the opening half. Danny McManus trying to get some rhythm. When he gets hot, there isn't anyone better. Second down and 4. McManus over the middle to Darren Flutie. He's got the first down, drops the ball. It's picked up by the Argos. It's Bonner. And Bonner is finally brought down by Andrew Grigg. Demetrius Bonner, who last week returned an interception 58 yards against Winnipeg, has the ball for the Argonauts at the Hamilton 30-yard line.
Wow, what a play. I mean, you got 5 Packer receivers in there now with Ronald Williams out. You can see Flutie, little stutter step, breaks inside, nice catch. What a great job of stripping the ball. Ball comes up, ever-present, Antonius Bonner picks it up. You can see Andrew Grigg wraps him up. You got to keep him out of the end zone, but this is just, that's what Toronto's defense is known for, making plays. They stripped the ball and recovered it, and you can't ask any more of them.
Byron Capers, the rookie out of Florida State, with the strip on Darren Flutie, and Antonius Bonner has the fumble recovery to just shy of the 30-yard line for the Tiger Cats. First down, Argonauts. Kerwin Bell in the shotgun, drops the ball and falls on it for a loss on the play. Mike Philbrick, the first to tackle, with help from Gonzalo Floyd.
Well, we're seeing some things that are not characteristic here already. Darren Flutie getting the fumble, and then obviously Kerwin Bell not handling the snap and running out and just dropping the ball right here.
It was a bad snap.
And just around the feet there, good presence to just fall on it and take the loss. Well, Chad Folk does the snapping for him out of the shotgun. Here's a man who benches close to 600 pounds, so maybe he's throwing that ball too light.
Loss of 9. Second and 19, Bell. At quarterback, dumps it off for Dimitrition, and he just gets back over the line of scrimmage. The tackle from Reggie Love, and there's Darren Flutie lamenting that fumble.
Well, you know, we talked to him yesterday, and they're both so keyed, and Darren Flutie who's normally a very quiet guy, wants to have a big game here. He wants to, you know, he loves Hamilton. He says the fans have been fantastic. He knows there's a full house here. He wants to respond with a big game.
Flutie passing Tony Gabriel with all-time receptions, the 6-14. They were tied coming in. And with his first catch, he moves alone into 7th place. Eric Bikos, a young man from Waterloo who missed his first field goal attempt at chip shot in the first quarter, will attempt one here from about the 37-yard line. Orlando Steinauer is the lone man back. Ball is down. Bikos puts his foot into it, and he's wide again. And so after going 8 for 8 in his first 3 games, Bikos is 0 for 2 in his first 2 kicks of his first Labor Day Classic in Hamilton.
Well, I tell you what, one of the big things about the field goal kicker is not only the holder important, but the snapper. And you can see the snap's a little high. Mazzoti's got to reach back for it. By the time he sets it down, it might interfere with the timing of Bigos' kick right there. The young kid, watch the snap right here. You're going to see him. He reaches back for it right there. And as a result, he's hooked it. Now, Bigos has hooked 2 kicks in a row now, both to the left side. In his mind, as a rookie kicker, he's going to have to figure out, how am I going to straighten out this kick? He's got to concentrate. He's got to figure out mentally what he's got to do now. It'll be interesting to see if it comes down to a crucial kick with this kid now.
Chad Folk with 2 questionable snaps. That one that was high and back of Masati, and of course the low shotgun to Kerwin Bell that caused the loss of 9. First down. The give is to Archie Amerson. A quick move to the outside, and he's got about 5. Donald Smith with the tackle for the Argonauts at the 40-yard line.
Well, it's nice to even see him carry the ball. I mean, he has not been a big part of their offense for the last couple of weeks. Early in the year, they were releasing him, getting mismatches with Archie, and he was making big plays. Lately, he's just been kind of like the quiet guy.
Frustrating start for Emerson. No touchdowns rushing, no touchdowns receiving. Second down at about 6. Tiger Cats. McManus. Far sideline. Olive is open, and he's got it before Abraham drives him out of bounds right at the first down marker.
Well, they're just doing shades of what Toronto's doing. They're running a 6-pack. With Ronald Williams out, they're using Emerson as a back, who will flip over to a slot back and line him up in different positions. They get 6 receivers out, make and force Toronto to go man-on-man coverage. Does a great job of getting the ball out there.
So McManus beginning to get some rhythm here in the second quarter. Only had the ball for 3 minutes in the first quarter, the Hamilton offense.
Well, he's not tired.
Shotgun to McManus. Standing in, lots of time. Over the middle, it's Mike Morielli. And he'll be tackled at center field with a flag on the play.
There's a flag down on the play.
Mike Morielli, the Hamilton native, with the catch to about the 54-yard line. And the call, it appears, will go against the Argos. 1st and 5, McManus, the signal to the bench.
Well, again, we're finding that the defense of Toronto is starting to jump, trying to anticipate the count of Danny Mack.
Offside, Toronto number 94. First down repeater.
Todrick McIntosh, the rookie on the D-line, offside. Former NFLer, trying to rekindle his football career after the thyroid problem that caused such weight loss. 1st and 5 at the 51. The handoff to Emerson again around the right side. This time, Bonner was waiting for him. No gain, maybe a slight loss on the play.
Well, this is an interesting play, and the fact that they've got the big lineman lined up in the backfield. He's going to be the lead blocker, but for whatever reason, Archie sees something outside and tries to cut it outside where Antonius Bonner is waiting. You got a guy that's 280 pounds leading you through the hole. Follow him.
And so Emerson loses a yard. And so quickly, a 1st and 5 situation turns into a 2nd and 6. Ticats looking to get some momentum here on offense. McManus connects over the middle. It's Darren Flutie and a big first down, and he's hog-tied. Capers, the rookie, puts the lock on him at the Toronto 40.
Well, you hate to say something good come out of something bad, but since the injury to Ronald Williams, Hamilton's been forced to use another receiver. Now they're going to 6-pack, and they're finding some success. And as you said earlier, Danny Mack is starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm.
Darren Flutie wide open underneath of the safety, Lester Smith. First down, Tiger Cats at the Toronto 41. Shaw is in the game at slot back. The extra receiver, bootleg, the naked bootleg. McManus tries to find Bobby Olive. He's down. There's a flag on the play, and it may be pass interference against the rookie, Clifton Abraham.
Well, it's definitely pass interference, but it's one of those situations where they both get kind of twisted up and fall.
Well, Olive was on his knees waiting for that one.
Little bootleg, something you wouldn't expect from Danny Mack. I think he had the whole defense full. He's looking for somebody. Could have rammed, doesn't like to. You can see him throw right there. And what happened was Abrahams and Olives just got their feet tangled.
interference.
Forward
Hamilton,
pass
number
interference
88.
is the call
First
against
down,
Bobby
repeated.
Olive.
Whoa, they're doing some. They're changing the calls. That's the second time today we've had the referees overroll each other.
And Ron Lancaster's already worked himself into a lather. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here's Caroline Corey.
Just to update the status of Ronnie Williams, who was hauled off the cart here. Evidently, he does not have any blown ligaments in his knee. That's a good thing, but they do not know at this time whether he will be coming back into the game or not. Mark?
All right, Caroline. First down and 20. The Tiger Cats. About a 10-yard gain to Morielli. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Fakir Brown, the rookie, with the tackle.
And I like the way they're moving the ball right now. He's throwing to the right, he's throwing to the middle, he's throwing to the left. He's mixing it up.
Morielli with 564 yards coming into this game. That's about 100 yards more than he had all of last season. So a banner year for the Hamilton product as he's getting lots of passes from Danny Mac across the middle where he's so big and tough.
And that comes from playing time.
Second down and 10. Tiger Cats. McManus has time. He goes back to Morielli, but Morielli is short of the first down marker by about 2, and Abraham makes the tackle. And you can see Morielli is upset with the route he ran.
Well, he went 8 yards. They needed 10.
The crowd now wants the Cats to go for it.
Well, it's a situation. They need 2 yards. Are you going to go or are you just going to get some points? It looks like they're just going to go for some points. Ozzy, 85% field goal kicker. Take the 3 right now, and with the 3 points, take the lead.
Ron Lancaster, Paul Osbaldiston was telling us the other day, makes sound football decisions. He will err on the side of being conservative. And this, in his mind, is the right decision. Trailing 1-0, Osbaldiston will attempt a 40-yard field goal. The hold from Flutie. It's good. The Cats take the lead for the first time. It's 3-1 with 6:34 to go in the half.
Welcome back to Ironwood Stadium, where the Hamilton Tiger Cats are leading the Argonauts by a score of 3-1. Paul Osbaldiston making a tremendous turnaround as far as the kicking game is concerned. He was making 57.1 of his field goals last year. This year, percentage much better at 85.2. Mark?
Caroline, we mentioned that he's in better shape. Here's another factor. He says he gets to kick as much as he wants in practice now, that Lancaster actually works on field goals in the middle of practice, not at the end as they used to do. When a lot of guys were tired and didn't want to hang around, he might kick 80 balls, he says, in a practice.
That's a big thing. You want to keep your leg fresh for where it counts, and that's in the game.
First down, Argos. Bell, lots of time. Across the middle, English is wide open. He sidesteps Carter and is finally tackled by Reggie Love close to center field.
Well, it's a nice job by Hamilton. They're changing up what they're rushing with. That time they come with 4 guys. Kerwin, great presence of mind, step up from the rush, find the guy coming across the middle, hits him with a nice completion and a first down.
English used sparingly in this Argo passing offense with 145 yards so far this season. Look at the time here for Bell. Sidewinder reminiscent of Dieter Brock, and it's an Argo first down. The shuttle pass. Darryl Mitchell looks for an opening. Finally jammed by Frank West and Mike Philbrick at center field. A gain of maybe 3 yards on the play.
Well, they ran that play earlier. All it is a shovel pass, trying to find an opening.
And Philbrick looks like he's in a great deal of pain at center field, making the tackle on Darryl Mitchell. Mike Philbrick down for the Cats. 3-1, Hamilton in front with 5 to go. Mike Philbrick of Carleton University is up and moving on his own after what looked like a thigh injury. And that's a good sign for the Ticat defense because he's such a cog. Here it is again.
Well, you can see they're making a tackle right there. And a lot of times when you're going over a pile of guys, you may jam your shoulder, jam your thigh into somebody else's shoulder pads. But he's up and at him, and I think he'll be back shortly.
Philbrick, who rejoined the Tiger Cats on June 27th, mere days before the Canada Day opening to this season. He's a financial advisor and investor with Nesbitt Burns and was set to prepare to take that career on his own before he decided to come back for another kick at the cap. There's the rivalry between McManus and Bell. Danny Mack beating Bell only once in his college days. This time Bell deep. Nigel Williams is wide open before Rob Hitchcock drags him down at the 15-yard line. And remember, it was Williams who was cheap-shotted earlier in the game, and now he's having a few words with the Ticat secondary. A 40-yard reception for Nigel Williams.
Well, again, it's one of those things where he comes off the cornerback, and the cornerback expects that the safety will be there, but Hitchcock is looking inside. He's wide open. He comes over way too late to help him. He's got to make the tackle, but not after a big game.
Kerwin Bell was saying yesterday he can take the safety right out of a football game in the CFL by looking him off, and he did that on that play as Rob Hitchcock was late arriving to make the tackle. First down, Argonauts at the Hamilton 15-yard line. Kerwin Bell, lots of time in the pocket. Unloads the ball. It's Paul Massotti to the 5, diving and finally knocked out of bounds just shy of the goal line by Reggie Love.
Well, let's talk about this protection. I mean, none of this play happens if not the big boys in front don't give him the time. Look at the protection right now. Look at that. They're keeping him all. He's got all kinds of time to throw. Finally finds Massotti coming across, makes a nice catch, tries to dive in for the end zone. Almost gets there to the ring.
Ticat secondary saying the other day that the Argos have inferior receivers but better schemes, that Paul Massotti, they say, should never get open.
Well, I don't know about
but
that.
He does.
I think Massotti and Darren Flutie are very similar in style. They run precision routes, and they're so smart. They read the coverage and know where to settle.
It was a direct shot at Massotti, who appeared to have the last laugh on that play. A first down for the Argonauts at the 1-yard line. And Jay Barker is in at quarterback. Barker coming in on run situations, short yardage situations for the Toronto Argonauts. He started the season, a rookie out of Alabama, passed for more than 1,000 yards in the first 4 games until Kerwin Bell had recovered enough from a broken arm to take over.
And Don Matthews said that had it not been Kerwin Bell could come back, that he was quite comfortable with the progress that Jay Barker was making as a quarterback, and I think you can see it. He's got all the tools. He's very composed in there. He's got great athletic ability, and he's gonna. I predict that this kid will be a future star in this league.
Massotti coming back in, it looks like, with a play from the bench to the rookie Barker. Appears to be some confusion as both teams are trying to send players in from the sidelines, and the officials are finally saying that's enough.
Well, what they did was Toronto sent the short yardage team in, the 2 big Huskies, for the outside to play the tight end position, and now the play came in, as you said, from Don Matthews, and they pulled the short yardage team, or the 2 big tackles. We're going to go with the regular offense.
Barker has fooled the Hamilton Ticat defense once already in what looked like a quarterback sneak situation with a quarterback keep around the corner. What will he call here? Still some confusion as he tries to call his offense back into the huddle. 4:10 to go in the first half. 3-1, the Tiger Cats leading the Argonauts. And the officials now coming down to talk to the scorers, the timekeepers.
Well, as much as there's so much disarray happening, this is actually a break for Toronto in the fact that they're at a crucial position with being on the 1-yard line. It's allowing more time to get organized. If there was confusion, this extra time is going to help straighten it out.
Finally, play is whistled in. First down and goal, Argos at the Hamilton 1-yard line. Nobody in the backfield. The offense spread left and right. And this time, Barker will keep the ball. And I don't think he got in. Montfort shoving.
Just a great job of the Hamilton Tiger Cats getting underneath the blockers, not allowing Barker to push his way over the left side over Big Willie Williams and Jude St. John. You can see him right there. Just a great job right there.
Gonzalo Floyd stopping the quarterback sneak. Jeremy O'Day and Chris Giaskis back in, the big hogs on the offensive line for the Argos.
Well, they're going to go with the double tight now.
Floyd stopping the first attempt, and first and goal from the 1. It'll be second and goal from the 1-yard line for the Argonauts. 3.5 minutes to go in the half as Giaskis digs in. Motion right. Pinball alone in the backfield. They give us to Pinball. He's stacked up for a loss. It's Montfort. And Strino.
Beautiful play. Just a great job by the Hamilton defense getting underneath the offensive line again, creating no movement. You can see right here. Take a look at Pinball. By the time he gets the ball, they're all on the ground. Steinhauer comes clean off the corner, makes a great play to prevent a touchdown.
And so the Argonauts, in what looked like a gimme, are in a field goal situation. But Bigos, remember, has missed twice as Montfort celebrates that big stuff on 2nd and goal. Arik Bigos will attempt this field goal from 9 yards out from an oblique angle. It's up, and it's good. Bigos with his first in 3 attempts in this game, and the Argos go back in front by 1. It's 4-3 Toronto with 3:12 to go in the first half.
They survived a big play. Nigel Williams coming open. Track down, they get the ball down to Mazzotti. He gets it to the 1-yard line, and the defense bends but does not break. Comes up with 2 great goal line stands, settles for a field goal, and as you see them going off the field, they're excited. They did not give up 7. They'll settle for the field goal.
One more look at that stalwart Hamilton defense stuffing the Argonauts twice. 1 yard out from the goal line. They couldn't get through. Joe Montfort in the wall.
Well, that's what you want on your defensive lineman. There's the man responsible. Right there, the defensive coordinator, Sudsy. Played a lot of years up here.
Head coach last year before being fired. And Ron Lancaster, before accepting the head coaching job here, said, "I'll take it, Sudsy, if you join me back on defense."
Well, he was excited. I saw him outside, and he was just, his palms are sweating before the game. He's gone through many of these games himself. Well, he was pretty worked up about this one.
Sudsy getting the headset back on after a great goal line stand by his Tiger Cat defense. And the Cats have elected to receive the kickoff after that Bigos field goal. It's Bobby Olive and Archie Amerson deep at their own 15. Bigos with a line drive taken by Amerson across the 20. Over the 30 to 35, picking his way. He's got some field! It's Bigos, the lone man back! Amerson is shoestring by the kicker!
Well, the first thing they wanted to do, the reason they took the kick to receive was the fact that they had to go against the wind. They didn't think it would be a deep kick. They thought they'd get some good field position.
A 55-yard return of a 57-yard kickoff, and the Cats have good field position. Capacity crowd of more than 30,000 at Ivor Wynn, still reveling in that kickoff return by Archie Amerson. 55 yards, and here it is again, big guy.
Well, let's just take a look. He's waiting. You can see he's looking for his blocks right here. If we slow it right down here, you can see he's getting his blocks. There's man on man. There's a seam right there. Now he accelerates through the hole, does a great job, and if not for the tackle of Bigos here, he might have gone for a lot more.
Looks like Cooper Harris with a big block to spring him free. First down, Tiger Cats inside the Toronto 40-yard line. Nobody yet to score a touchdown on this one, and a miscommunication between McManus and Darren Flutie as that ball sails out of bounds. Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Caroline Corey.
All right, Mark, just to further update the status of running back Ronnie Williams of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He has popped a quadricep muscle. Obviously, then we probably won't see him back in this game.
That sounds bad, Chris.
Well, that's a season ender, definitely. I mean, that sometimes has to be surgically reconstructed and reattached, and we wish him the best, and, you know, knowing his work ethic, he'll be back.
Danny McManus with 10 completions and 14 attempts, about a 7-yard average, so he's yet to stretch the Argo defense. Second down, 10, Hamilton. This time he goes deep down the sidelines, just misses Bobby Olive with close contact on the play from the rookie, Fakir Brown.
Well, he just missed Bobby Olive, and he just missed becoming 2 people. I tell you what, Fakir Brown comes across there, and I tell you what, he comes across like a missile. He catches this ball, he's carted off in the next cart.
Almost separated the olive from the pimento on that one.
That's right. Take a look at this. They're running some stunts right now. You can see Jermaine Haley coming in there. Maxey, they're getting some pressure on Danny Mac.
And so it's a field goal situation for Osbaldiston. Steve Smith, the lone man back. The ball at the 45-yard line. It's good. The Cats go back in front. 6-4 with 2:23 to go in the opening half. Osbaldiston 2 for 2 in field goals. Well, a hockey game is broken out here at Ivor Wynn. It's 6-4 Tiger Cats late in the opening half. Who would have thunk it? Two high-powered offenses yet to score a touchdown.
Well, let's give credit to where credit's due, and the defenses are doing an outstanding job. They're bending in some instances, but they're not breaking. We've had some special team excitement, but as you said, yes, it's 6-4.
And it's first down. Argos at their own 35. Kerwin Bell. Lots of time in that pocket. Finally grabbed and manhandled by Joe Montford. His 12th sack of the season.
Well, that is a coverage sack. He had plenty of time to throw the football. They just kept working and working and working. You can see them coming across. I mean, they are working here, but the defensive backs are doing an excellent job. You can see him up top here. He's working, he swats, comes back inside, and he chases him down. Initially, the offensive line of Toronto gave him plenty of time to throw that ball, but the coverage downfield by the Hamilton Tiger Cats was that good.
Montford chucking Dwayne Morgan, the right tackle for the Argos, for the sack. A league-leading 12th so far this season. Second and long, 2nd and 20. Argos across the middle, pinball, drop for a gain of maybe 5 or 6, but it'll be 14 yards short of the first down. Calvin Tiggle on the play, and the Argos will have to punt deep in their own end zone, or in their own zone, which will give the Ticats good field position.
And one of the things we talked about earlier in the show, Mark, was the fact that Hamilton had to disguise their defense. Change it up. Don't always line up and show early. What they've done that time, they rushed 3. The other time, they rushed 5. The time before, rushed 4. They're mixing it up. Kerwin Bell's having to have to take time to read his receivers right now, and he's just having to dump it off.
Montford was saying that Kerwin Bell is so sharp at reading defenses that the Cats were going to have to break their huddle on defense later to give him less of a pre-snap read. Well, Prefontaine set to punt, 41.5-yard average, and Bobby Olive stands back at his own 31 for the Tiger Cats. Less than 2 minutes to play in the first half. Shaw as he got very close. A short punt, though, coming down at the 42-yard line where Olive simply falls on it. There's a flag on the play.
There'll be no yards there. 15 yards up. First down for Hamilton. As a result, they're going to get great field position right by center field.
39-yard punt by Prefontaine. A 1-yard recovery, if you can call it that, by Olive.
Well, what I've noticed now is it seems like in last...
No yards. Toronto, number 97. First down.
The last time these two teams met, Hamilton did not have good field position to start any of their drives. This game, they are starting to get some great field position.
There's the scene at Busch Stadium in St. Louis where Mark McGuire is looking for home run number 61, hoping to tie Roger Maris's record, and he's at the plate. McManus in the shotgun, deep down the left sideline, and great blanket coverage by Abraham. The Cats are saying it should be interference. Flutie had no chance on the play.
That is a great job of coverage right there, running stride for stride. He tries to turn back to the ball. He's not, Abraham that is not trying to interfere with him, but the fact is that the coverage is so tight, he's like a second skin on him.
Tight as a bark to a tree. Clifton Abraham on that play.
You watch him going down the field. He tries to come back, turns.
No, that looked like interference. Here's a long shot. Have turned the ball over on a fumble by Archie Amerson, recovered by Antonius Bonner. Chris, here's another look at how it happened.
Just a nice run. They're running the ball today. He comes in here, does a great job of running, trying to front. You see 19, Donald Smith strips the ball, bounces up, Antonius Bonner gets it again. Second recovery for him today.
52 seconds to go in the first half. Bell, far sideline, and a great catch by Masadi. They're rolling it out of bounds. Paul Masadi thought he had both feet in. He only needs one in the CFL. He's ruled out of touch.
Just a great catch, and the total concentration of trying to keep your feet in.
Masadi thinks he was robbed. You might agree. Another look at Busch Stadium as McGuire's parents celebrate his homer. Back to Hamilton.
You see the pass right here. He's got him out here. Let's just take a look if we can see it. Oh, his feet were in. His feet were in.
In by at least 6 inches. A beautiful catch by Masadi. Toes in bounds. It looked like they were in bounds.
Well, I tell you what, he could do ballet with that step. That was a great move by him.
Masadi having a great game in his hometown. In a field goal situation as Masadi comes up to spot the ball at the 50-yard line for Bigos. Bigos with lots of leg. It's long enough. Not quite long enough. Short, taken by Steinhauer at the 2-yard line. He's got a head of steam before finally being taken down by Dwayne Dimitrichyn.
And I tell you what, it sounded to me up here that ball was touched as it was kicked by Bigos. We'll take another look at that and we'll see, but I think that somebody must have got a hand on it because he's usually got a tremendously strong leg, but that fell short.
Bigos 8 for 8 coming into this game, 1 for 4 so far in the first half. Short on that 50-yard attempt.
You see it coming up right now.
You're right.
Sure you can see it. Gerald Vaughn gets his hand on it, deflects it enough and makes it go short, and then a nice return by Orlando Steinhauer.
Gerald Vaughn defying the laws of gravity, getting so high to block that one. First down, Tiger Cats. The dump pass to Emerson. Ooh, he's hit hard and tumbles through the air over the 40-yard line for a first down. The tackle by Lester Smith. One more look at the historic left field of Busch Stadium for home run number 61. And Lester Smith is still down on the ground as Lancaster looks on after making that terrific hit on Archie Emerson. Smith, who led the CFL in interceptions last year with 6, is leading the Argonauts with 4 this year. And it looks like he's just taking some time to compose himself.
Well, you know, every time you lead and you make a nice tackle like that, you jam your head a little bit. And you can see him coming here. Here's Archie Emerson with the ball. He's going to make a move. Now watch the head. Watch the head on the thigh right there. You can see he gets knocked by the thigh. The head snaps to one side, knocks you a little bit dizzy for a while. You got to kind of wake up. Oh, we're still in Hamilton. Someone tell him where he is.
That's textbook technique, no? They teach you that. You're going to make a tackle, you got to stick your head in front of the ball carrier, and you pay the price when his thighs come up like pistons.
Well, when they come up like pistons like that and it rocks you that many times, you're either going to be a very flexible guy who's going to be wearing turtlenecks for the rest of your life, or you're going to get awfully tough. But that was a great hit by both. He ran over, and he seems to be okay. He's getting to his feet right now.
Veteran from the Citadel. The free safety for the Argos. Up off the field now under his own. And with 25 seconds to go in the half, George Namaco is back in replacing Smith. Blanket coverage by the rookie Brown and Morielli. He has it, but there's a flag on the play. The completion about 2 yards short of the first down marker at the Hamilton 50. Morielli having a banner year in the CFL. Here's the call from Glenn Johnson.
Offside, Hamilton, number 88. First down.
Bobby Olive is tabbed for offside, and that will negate an 8-yard gain. The catch by Mike Morielli.
Well, that's the second time a receiver has jumped the gun, and I don't know if Danny's changing his cadence to trying to catch the defense of Toronto, make them jump, but he's making his own receivers jump.
And so it's 1st and 15. Only 17 seconds to go in the first half. 6-4, the Tiger Cats leading the Argos. Dump pass to Flutie. It's finally wrestled down over the 45-yard line, and fans calling for a late hit. Namaco in the game for Lester Smith makes his first tackle.
Well, one of the nice things about being an offensive lineman is if you get a receiver fighting that hard for the ball, Carl Coulter comes over and says, hey, I'm going to come over and help him.
Ticats in there. Hurry up offense. 10 seconds to go. Deep down the left sideline, he's got a man open, but Archie Amerson can't get to the ball.
Well, he is stretching the defense now. He's trying to go downtown. And with the 6 receiver stuff, they're running the ball a little bit. They're throwing some 6 receivers at him. They're stretching him. It's opening it up, and they're getting some success.
So the Cats, 3rd down, in about 5 with 1 second left to go in the first half, will have one more chance as Danny Mack will likely go with a Hail Mary. The man who made that one famous at Boston College, Doug Flutie, is in the stadium watching here after playing his first NFL game last night in San Diego for the Buffalo Bills. The snap, McManus, time, dumps it off to Flutie. He punts it, a quick kick, and it's out of bounds. Smart thinking by Darren Flutie with the quick kick. When was the last time you saw that one?
When they wore leather helmets. But I tell you what, it's a smart move by him just to get something happening.
Danny Mack, the Darren Flutie, and the quick kick doesn't quite work. It's the Cats leading the Argos by 2 at the half. Football doesn't come much tougher than a game that I remember win, and right now neither team able to score a touchdown. The Cats leading the Argos 6-4, and Hamilton, their diehards present here today, will kick off, electing to take the wind in the 4th quarter.
And the nice thing, Mark, is that you look at the last time these two teams met in that 42-6 rout, they were down 20-6 at halftime. This time Hamilton's got the lead, 6-4.
Complexion of this football game quite different from the one 2 weeks ago as Steve Smith takes this punt at his kickoff at the 18. Sidesteps some tackles, finally gets some real estate and pulled down at the Toronto 42-yard line. How about the first half story? And look at the first down. The Argos all over Hamilton, 12-5. Rushing, though, non-existent in this football game.
Well, neither team is rushing, and I think Pinball Clemens has got 9 yards on 4 carries. But the big thing here is the passing yards. They are 177 to 126, but as I mentioned at halftime, had those 2 fumbles by Flutie and Amerson not happened, they'd be pretty equal right now in the passing department.
Manis had about 150-yard average in his last 2 games. He's up to 119, so faring much better than 2 weak performances the last 2 times out. There's a dump pass, and Frank West is all over Darryl Mitchell.
Well, their defensive scheme is nice. What they're doing is they're playing man-to-man, and they're playing off, and they got a guy sitting in the hole right there just trying to play where Mitchell's sitting. So watch, he goes down, he catches the ball, he comes inside, he's going to find his hole. He sees the ball comes to him, but there's Frank West closing right now. Bam.
Cats showing zone defense on that one. They admitted they were confused when they were in man defense and the crossing patterns that killed them in that big loss a couple of weeks ago.
Well, they were putting a safety in the bind, and Kerwin Bell's very good at that right now.
2nd and long. Bell, screen pass to Mike Clemens. Finally gets free just over the first down marker at the 51 before Calvin Tiggle puts the stop on him.
And a nice change of pace. You're throwing the ball downfield a lot. What better way to come back but a little screen pass? You know the defensive linemen are going to be in your face. They're trying to get to you. Little dump pass to Pinball. Let him do what he does best, which is scat back. Take a look up here. They're all going to be rushing up there right now. Just a little hitch pass. Just throws it out there. Let Pinball do the rest. Does a nice job getting the first down.
First down, Argos at their own 53-yard line. Bell in the shotgun. Deep down the middle, Nigel Williams, and it's picked off. Orlando Steinauer has the ball for Hamilton.
Now that is pure athletic ability. Broke on the ball, running down, stride for stride. Nigel Williams thinks he's going to make the catch. Orlando snaps it away from it at the last second, makes a great interception, kills the Toronto drive.
Orlando Steinauer with a league-leading 5th interception.
Let's take a look right here. They're going down the left side of the screen right now. He's trying to look the safety off again. Throws it right there, and Steinauer does a great job of coming across. Makes a nice interception, and just to add measure, Hitchcock gives him a little shot.
First down, Danny McManus and the Cats at the 36 of Hamilton. Over the middle. This is Andrew Grigg with a move, and he'll be close to a first down. Good performance after the catch for the Canadian Grigg.
Well, we talked about the halftime stats of Danny Mac versus Kerwin Bell, but I think the big stat was probably the second quarter. I think that's when Danny started to get on track. He really had a kind of a cold first quarter. Second, they started going to a 5-pack and a 6-pack receivers, and he seems to be way more relaxed in his picking his receivers. He's finding open receivers and he's getting the ball to them.
Ron Lancaster has said he's always hesitant to take McManus out of a game when he's having a tough time, because he can turn just like that and get suddenly hot and win a football game. We've seen that on countless occasions, especially when he won the Grey Cup with the BC Lions.
Almost definitely, and right now the defense is giving him opportunities to move the ball. They're patient, but he's responding by moving the ball around to different receivers and getting them good field position.
Of course, Danny was joking the other day. He says, you know, Ron knows where I come from in terms of interceptions because he still holds the all-time record for picks.
Well, that's always nice to know your coach is throwing more than you have.
Second and inches. Quarterback sneak. McManus looks like he'll have enough for a first down. It is a Hamilton first down. Confidence early in the second half, obviously building for this offensive unit. As Lancaster says, you've got to get a couple of first downs before you start feeling good about yourself and get some momentum, get some rhythm, and start setting up plays. You can't set something up if you're 2 and out.
And you know the nice thing that we talked about, being down 20-6 last game at halftime, what was said in the locker room? What did the coaches say? Now this time, Don Matthews only being down by 2 points, still not a situation he's used to.
Defensive battle here in the Labor Day Classic. Don't forget game 2 coming up right after this one. The Stampeders and Eskimos from McMahon and Calgary. Another completion for McManus over the middle. Bobby Olive has the catch, and Billy Wiltshire finally stands him up after a gain of about 6 yards.
Boy, I tell you what, it's almost like they're taking plays out of the Toronto playbook. They're sending the 2 wide receivers deep, taking the corner and a halfback, and just trailing Griggs right across the middle, almost Alan Mitchell, what Toronto does, and they're getting success with it.
Bobby Olive with a 4.6 40 is perhaps the fastest receiver in this Hamilton offense. McManus admits he'd like to have more speed, but he says, I've got a smart group here. They run disciplined pass routes, and I'll take that.
Well, that counts. I mean, you can't have a guy running anywhere without knowing where he's going.
2nd and 3. McManus in the shotgun. He's got Morreale with a first down out of bounds. Fakir Brown, the rookie from Grambling, takes him out over the 50.
And a nice throw by Danny Mac, throwing the ball where only Morreale can catch it. Fakir Brown is all over him. Just take a look at him. He's looking at him right now. He wants that. There he throws the ball. Nobody else can get that ball. It's in a situation where Fakir Brown is in a trail position.
6'3" Morreale out of McMaster University, having a stellar 4th season in the CFL. Another first down for the Tiger Cats, and this is when McManus gets dangerous. He's on a roll. And he has time. Again, this one intended for Morreale, but knocked down by Clifton Abraham, the rookie out of Florida State.
Well, Danny got a little lucky there because he was looking at Morreale all the way, and the defensive back, the cornerback on that play, left his man and came over to make the play and almost intercepted the ball. You can see him coming. There's Abraham's coming across.
Great backhanded tip by Abraham, making it 2nd and 10, Hamilton, the Toronto 47. Flag on the play, and it looks like the Cats will be called for procedure.
It's probably a time count violation.
Time count violation. Hamilton, number 14, 2nd down.
So McManus taking too much time putting the ball into play. They'll go back 5 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 15.
And one of the things that Toronto's is trying to do is they're lining everybody up here. This is what they had success with last time in Toronto, and then dropping, trying to confuse Danny McManus as to how many people they're actually bringing.
Mike O'Shea showing blitz there, then he dropped off into coverage at the middle linebacker spot. 15 yards to go for a first down. There's Morreale. He's close. He's stacked up and takes a beating. He dumps it off to Olive. Olive has the ball at the 20, the 15, the 10. Bobby Olive. Touchdown, Hamilton. touchdown of this Labor Day Classic on a shrewd pitch from Mike Morreale.
Well, I tell you what, for a fourth-year guy in this league, this is heads up. Not only does he make a great catch over the opposite shoulder, but then he fights three guys and still has the presence of mind to lateral the ball to Bobby Olive, sees him, and it results in 7 points. Just a heads-up play.
Well, he had two Argos on him and still had the strength to make the pitch to Bobby Olive, who just about stepped out of bounds and went down the sideline for the Hamilton touchdown. It's the Tiger Cats ahead of the Argos, 13-4 in the third quarter. Bobby Olive still savoring the most spectacular play of this Labor Day Classic so far. The pitch and go from Morreale to Olive for the Hamilton touchdown. With Paulus Baldiston's convert, it's 13-4 Tiger Cats. The pinball is deep with Steve Smith to receive this kickoff from Paulus Baldiston. Knuckleballer taken by Smith at his 23. Fakes the reverse to pinball. Up through the center field line. Sidesteps one tackle and finally drilled shy of the 40-yard line. Cooper Harris with the tackle, a 51-yard kickoff and a 16-yard return by Steve Smith.
Well, here we have the convert. You can just see it right now. Paulus Baldiston puts it through for the extra point, making a score of 13. But let's take a look at this. Bobby Olive, if we can just freeze it right there, and if you take a look, his foot is definitely out of bounds right there. You know, you got to be good to be lucky, but you need a couple breaks once in a while, and Mark, I believe they got a break.
Well, the Argos were complaining after the referee signaled touchdown that Olive had stepped out of bounds, and that verifies it. A break for the Cats. The give is to the pinball. He bobs and weaves for about 5 yards. An update from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Mark McGuire's next at bat, a single down the left field line, and so his home run count remains at 61 after he hit his historic mark earlier in this game in his first at bat to tie Roger Maris. The Grim Reaper in Hamilton saying the end is near for the Argos. It's close, 13-14. Hamilton in front. The Argos get to score a major. Kerwin Bell remaining at quarterback in the shotgun. Has time, throws to the wide side of the field. It's wobbly and short as he throws off his back foot.
That's the first thing I just noticed myself, Mark. He is not throwing the ball with as much authority as he did the last couple times we've seen him play. Right now, I don't know if it's the pressure or the fact that they're behind, but right now he's forcing some situations and he's forcing some throws. That one was lucky enough that didn't get picked off as well. You can see him right now. He's dropping back, checking it out. He wants to throw to the left. You can see he's looking, but the pressure, he just doesn't seem comfortable.
The Cats. Sorry, Chris.
We talked about Danny Mac finding a rhythm. Danny Mac seems to have found a rhythm. It looks like Kerwin Bell is starting to lose his rhythm.
Bell sporting a bandage on his chin, looked like that from an earlier shot. And a deep pump from Prefontaine, sending Olive backpedaling to his goal line. Now Orlando Steinauer. The ball hits the goalpost, pops back out. There are flags on the play as John Raposo recovers it at the 2-yard line of the Tiger Cats. We'll decipher the flag on that one when we come back to Hamilton. We've seen some unusual plays in this one, and here's another.
Well, you know what? The Labor Day gives you everything. Here you got a pass, end of half. Flutie decides to catch it. What? No, then he punts it. Only in the Canadian Football League can you get this kind of excitement. I mean, he tried to kick in the end zone for a single point. Smart move. Then he got another play. Mike Morreale, great catch. Now he's not going to kick it this time. What's he going to do? He's going to pitch it. Another adaptation. This one results in a touchdown. We've seen it all today.
Cats pulling out their bag of tricks on the punt. The ball bounced off the goalpost, and the Cats were pinned on their own too, but John Raposo was called for no yards, a 15-yard penalty, and some breathing space for Hamilton. Danny McManus looks right, then goes left. There's a flag on the play, and it looks like the Cats are going to be called for a holding behind the play.
And that is indeed the call, Mark.
Dave Hack, number 68, the second-year man out of Maryland.
Well, we haven't mentioned Demetrius Maxey at all today, but on that occasion, Dave Hack...
Holding. Hamilton, number 64. Penalties declined. Second down.
was attempting to block him, and they had to put an old clamp on the jersey there.
There's Demetrius Maxey, who gave Danny McManus fits in that 42-6 drubbing 2 weeks ago at the Skydome, but he has not been a factor in this game so far. The retooled Hamilton offensive line
has done an excellent job today of giving Danny time.
Here's the official attendance for this game here at Iberlin, 30,065. 30,065 beyond capacity for this Labor Day Classic. Across the middle, Darren Flutie stretching out in traffic before Lester Brown drills him, and he can't hold on.
Nice job again by the offensive line of Hamilton to hold him out, give Danny option to check off 3 receivers. Finally sees Darren Flutie coming across the middle. He's looking to the right. He throws right down the middle here. Darren Flutie is trying to get it, stretches out. And
it was Lester Smith, though. He heard footsteps.
Well, he heard footsteps. He also knew that if he would have caught this, I think Lester Smith would have buried him. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see that coming right there.
And so the Cats are in a punting situation with Osbaldiston in the shadow of his own goalpost, standing on the 2-yard line. Smith and Smith back to receive. Steve Smith takes it on the run at the 50, loses his footing and falls at about the Hamilton 45-yard, and so a short field to start this Argo offensive series.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that's very important right now for Hamilton is knowing that you're going into the wind right now, that they have got to keep Toronto off the scoreboard as much as possible right now, because they have the win in the 4th quarter.
Well, again, a good sign in Hamilton with that huge attendance mark, a sellout here on Labor Day, and of course still to come another sellout at McMahon Stadium in Calgary for Game 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader, the Battle of Alberta. The Stamps and the Eskimos still to come. David Archer will start for Edmonton. Garcia will get the nod for Calgary. Here's Bell on the Hamilton 45. Time, close coverage. Reggie Love puts the lock on the pinball, and it's a short gain for Toronto.
And Hamilton's defensive backs are doing a really good job. Reggie Love has kind of got the assignment of covering whoever comes out of the backfield. On that particular play, he's got pinball. Pinball just tries to slide out like he does against so many other teams, but Reggie's right there to limit the game.
Kerwin Bell prides himself on his composure, his ability to read defenses. He said that last year Doug Flutie liked predetermined pass routes. This year they're going with options. The receivers often have 3 options on each pass route, and he's got to be on the same page. Here's Bell rolling. Wide open is Nigel Williams. And he's tripped up by Tiggle, but not before he gets to the Hamilton 26, 27-yard line.
A nice job, as you said, and especially with the number of options that Kerwin Bell has with each receiver running the route. You see all 3 of the receivers, Mitchell and Mazzotti, run deep. Nigel Williams runs and comes back to the ball. They drop him off. You can see him coming back to the ball right now. Beautiful job of coming back to the football and turning it up and getting the yards.
First down, Argos. Ball on the Hamilton 27. Bell going deep down the sideline. The mix-up there as Mazzotti decided to come back to the ball, and there was nobody waiting for that errant pass. Eric Carter with coverage.
And you can start to see a little frustration on Kerwin Bell's face right there. He's not happy with the way things are going. I think after the 42-6 shellacking they gave Hamilton, he was expecting a little bit more success. But I think you got to give credit to the defensive backs in Hamilton, especially the corners, doing an excellent job on the receivers.
Joe Montford has been giving Matthews offense trouble because he often keeps only 5 men in the block, and that means that Joe Montford knows he's only got to beat that tackle. And when you've got a quarterback who's not very mobile, you can come inside, you can come outside, you can give the tackle fits. Here's Montford. Bell rolling left. Time across the middle. Williams has got it.
Nice job by Kerwin Bell. Nice job by Williams finding the opening, sitting in the spot behind the linebacker in front of the safety. Just a great job of pitch and catch right there and knowing where the receiver is going to be. You see Kerwin Bell is going to his left. He's rolling. He's looking for him all the way. He checks him off. You see him right there. He's over the linebacker and right in front of Steinhauer, Orlando Steinhauer, number 22.
Nigel Williams, the Hamilton Hurricanes junior product, here having a field day in the second half on this Hamilton secondary. First down Argos, ball now at the Hamilton 13. Here comes Montford. Sack!
happened. He knows Morgan. You got to remember now, Morgan was in Hamilton's training camp last year. And Munford had plenty of opportunity to do one-on-one pass rush against him. You can see him coming right now. Kerwin does not even see him. It's from the blind side. Bam!
Did he get a jump on Morgan? Morgan was barely out of his stance when Munford was in the backfield.
Well, that's 2 for Munford today.
That makes 13 for Munford on the season, the league leader. And look at this. The Argos with great protection last year with 11 sacks, at this time now 31. But of course, Doug Fluty's mobility a factor there. Here's Bell with time across the middle. Walters is all over. Pinball Clemens, but there's no call.
Oh, they got away with one right there. There was definitely interference back there. You don't see Pinball get very excited, but he was excited on that play. He went right to the referee, and you're right, Mark. He was molested on that one.
Kyle Walters was all over Mike Pinball Clemens, draped all over his back, knocked him before the ball got there, but there's no call.
You can see him right here in the bottom of the screen. He's right there. He hits him, doesn't allow him a chance to catch the ball. It's okay if both of you have the opportunity, but you can't negate his opportunity to catch the football.
And you're right, Pinball, one of the great sportsmen, does not usually make a case to the officials, but that time he had a point. Field goal attempt for Bigos from the 28. It's up and good. And so Arik Bigos gets his second field goal in 5 attempts to close the margin. It's 13-7 Hamilton.
But the biggest thing...
Those are the 500 end zone seats. They sold out in 19 minutes for $15 a crack. In fact, some fans bought seats right there behind that big pine tree. Hasn't been cut down yet, although some of the fans, Bluto, have spilled right down to the fence to get a better look at this one. But talk about being a diehard fan. You buy a ticket behind a tree.
If I bought a ticket, I'd be taking that tree home for Christmas. Early present.
Danny Mack offering some stability at the quarterback position, something that was not here last year.
Last year they had 5 quarterbacks, and you know, Anthony Cavillo, who's having a great season as it is, 279 throws, but look at this year, 319 by 1 quarterback.
And some stability, some consistency at the leadership position, and that's why the Cats are 7-2. Here's McManus. It's complete to the far side. Shaw has the ball, and the tackle by Wiltshire.
And talking to Cody Ledbetter before the game, the 3rd-string quarterback, he said, you know what the nicest surprise was getting this Trevor Shaw kid out of BC. He says, not only did he pick it up within 3 or 4 days of practice, but he says he's got great hands and great concentration.
6'3", 215. Looks like he's cut from the same mold as Mike Moriali at 6'3", 210. So 2 big targets at the slot back position for the Cats, who are of course going without running back Ronald Williams, who tore his quadricep muscle in the first half. Archie Amerson, the lone running back in the offense, and he's quickly brought down by Todrick McIntosh for a short gain.
Trying to run a little counter play here, change it up a little bit. They've been throwing the ball so much. But backside, Todrick McIntosh reads it, just follows it down the line of scrimmage and makes the play.
We talk about stability. Here's another improvement the Tiger Cats have made this year. They're averaging 1 touchdown more per game on offense, and on defense, their points against have been cut from 30.5 to 17, virtually cut in half. And right now they've held the Argos to just 7 late in the 3rd quarter. Shotgun, and there's a flag on the play. Bonner may have jumped the gun there to be offside.
Yeah, Bonner watched Trevor Shaw release. He was just moving around, jumped the gun, tried to get in his face.
Offside. Toronto number 10, 2nd down repeated.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bridgestone Blizzak, now available in 2 tread patterns, Winter Biter and Ice Gripper. Blizzak, the winter tire that sticks to ice.
Big break for the Tiger Cats. The 5-yard penalty makes it 2nd and about 3.5 at center field for Danny Mack and the Cats. Quick shot over the middle. Archie Amerson has it. Wiltshire with the tackle. The 4th leading tackler in the CFL brings down the diminutive running back, but not before he gets another 1st down.
And smart again. They're sending receivers deep, running somebody across. They're just running cross route. They got Archie Amerson coming there. He's got to be covered by Kelly Wiltshire. A nice throw. Let's give Danny credit. He's been taking some heat for the last couple weeks, not throwing on the money. He threw this one on the money.
McManus now on the move. 1st down, Hamilton at the Toronto 43-yard line. going into the wind here in the third quarter. The Cats will have the wind at their backs in the fourth. McManus back in the shotgun, grabs a high snap over the middle of Darren Flutie. He's got it. Breaks one tackle and brought down inside the 35 of Toronto and close to another first down.
And I think Lester Smith, again, the man trying to make the tackle, jammed his head or his shoulder, and he's down again. He's slow to get up. You watch the pass rush right here. Wilchar coming off the corner. Danny Mack gets it away quickly. Darren Flutie slanting across the middle. There you see Lester Smith with the tackling attempt. I think he jammed his neck again.
Maurice Miller coming off the defensive line to make the tackle on Darren Flutie as Lester Smith gets some attention. 2 shots to his head in this game, to the neck area.
Yeah, and that's something you don't like to see, especially, the first one you maybe dazed or something, but whenever you jam it, it doesn't take much to re-injure it right now, and they're going to have to take a look at us.
Well, they attend to Lester Smith. We'll take another look at this completion by McManus. He's now 21 of 30 for 199 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
But he's spreading the ball around nice, and that's what I like. He's going to Flutie, he's going to Morreale, he's going to Griggs, he's going to Amerson. He's hitting all receivers in different parts of the field, and you can feel that he really is getting into a rhythm right now.
Lester Smith making his way to the Argo bench. His 4 interceptions, the best among the Argo secondary this year. It looks like he's clenching his right fist, and that's often an indication of a burner or a pinched nerve.
Well, most definitely, and that's one thing you don't like to see. And they're going to put some ice on it right now. Take a look at it, and they're really going to have to evaluate whether they can afford to put him in and risk further injury and maybe have him miss some games down the road.
We're attempting to get a ruling on the fact that Danny Mack has no touchdown passes. You remember Bobby Olive got the big TD, but that was on a pass to Morreale and then a pitch out to Bobby Olive. And so McManus has yet to be credited with that as a touchdown pass. This time he goes to Bobby Olive, and Olive is quickly lassoed by the rookie Abraham for a short gain of 4.
Well, I think what happens on that situation, Mark, going back to the touchdown with Olive, is that he's credited with the yardage. He gets the yardage, but he doesn't get credit with the catch because it wasn't his catch, it was Morreale's. So all they could do is, if he had 10 catches for 100 yards, they would just say now he has 10 catches for 120 yards.
Doesn't matter how you get there, they got there. They've got the only touchdown of this football game and a 13-7 lead. Hamilton threatening now as they move deep into Argo territory. There's a bad snap over McManus's head. He's got the ball, gets rid of it, and a completion. Oh, just out of the hands of Flutie, but it was well shy of first down territory. Heads up play by Danny McManus, and there's a threatening scoring drive nullified by a snapper's mistake. 13-7. The Ticats lead the Argonauts after 3 quarters of play in this gritty Labor Day Classic at Ivor Wynne. Back in Hamilton, this was the scene just moments ago as Ticats center Carl Coulter was clearly agitated after making that bad snap over the head of Danny McManus. Now, we've talked about earlier in the broadcast, there he is throwing his helmet, that Coulter sweats profusely and that McManus has actually had trouble with sweaty balls trying to hold on to them when he gets the snap from the center. There you see the snap going over Danny Mack's head. Maybe he had too much sweat on his hands and couldn't get the snap off properly.
Well, if that was the case, what you'd like to do is, or see Carl Coulter do, is put a couple of the wristbands on to catch that sweat from coming off his arm. Right now, I saw he had his hands, you can see, he had his hands in a bag. Now, I don't know if that's a resin bag just to kind of keep him sticky, just so he doesn't slip off the ball. But he's putting new Pro Wrap on. That's Pro Wrap right there.
Well, you can see everybody sweats in a pro football game, but he really sweats, and it's been a problem for both he and quarterback Danny McManus. There's Osbaldiston from the 33. He's been simply perfect in this game. Another one, 3 in a row for the Oz. And the Cats extend their lead, 16-7. Carl Coulter still glum over that high snap, which snuffed out a promising Ticat scoring drive. Twice they've been inside the 35-yard line and failed to come away with touchdowns on the Argos. The crowd here, though, loving this grudge match.
It's a great game. We talked about it. Anytime you can bring the other team who has embarrassed you back to your park, your turf as it were, and you can lay it on them. That's what you want. That's just your dream, especially on a big day like this on Labor Day.
I was on the internet the other day looking at the various home pages for the Cats and the Argos, and you wouldn't believe how many fans have written in and contacted these websites and made some pretty tough statements about their feelings. And there again, the Grim Reaper signaling the end for the Argos. First down for Kerwin Bell. Argos scrimmaging from their own 35. Bell has had time in this game. A low pass is complete to Paul Masadi, just shy of the first down marker. Third quarter stats, and you see the passing yardage starting to come back for Danny McManus. 204 rushing, though, still a factor, a non-factor in this football game, and 2 turnovers to the 1.
Big stat right there is the first downs, though, Mark. I mean, they have really moved the ball now and started to take the time of the clock.
Second down, they're about a foot as Kerwin Bell leaves the game and Jay Barker comes back in. He's been doing that on numerous occasions this season. Short yardage, the rookie, the 6'4" Barker will make the play. Quarterback sneak, and he has ample yardage following the blocking of the big man, Willie Williams. Teagle with the tackle. First down, Argos across the 45-yard line.
Well, it would be a cardinal sin if you have a big guy at 6'4" like that following a couple 300-pounders and you don't get it 1 yard. It should be automatic.
Kerwin Bell has yet to really stretch this defense except on a couple of passes to Nigel Williams. But he still has the edge in passing yardage. McManus has now been credited with the touchdown pass, the pass to Morielli, and then the pitch out to Badiali. Nice touch on the ball. It's complete to Darryl Mitchell, but it's short of a first down by about 1.5 yards.
And you know what I like about what Hamilton's doing right now is they're giving a little bit, but they're not giving the big play. Last time they were burned repeatedly by big plays. They're playing smart, disciplined football, breaking on the ball and making the play after the ball is caught.
Montford getting ready to call the Hamilton defense as Jay Barker comes back in at quarterback. They continue to shuttle in these short yardage situations. The second and short situation, seeing Barker on this drive. A little more than 1 yard to go. Barker sends 3 receivers right. Hands off to the pinball. He's got the first down and a couple more. Well, what a difference a couple of weeks ago. This was the scene 2 weeks ago as Kerwin Bell aired the ball out. 3 huge passes to Nigel Williams for 152 yards. There's another beauty. Williams had a field day against the Hamilton secondary. And Kerwin Bell was over 300 yards again, that time to Darryl Mitchell in a 42-6 blowout. But in this game, Kerwin Bell has yet to throw a touchdown pass. The Argos yet to score a major with only 7 points. The handoff to pinball. The merry-go-round, he gets out of that situation. Finally grabbed by about 6 Ticat defenders. Frank West was the first to make contact, but the pinball made something out of a tough situation.
Well, you know, he's a gamer. He's a player. That's why this guy's done everything he's done in this league. He keeps those legs going. He gets contacted, as they say, by Frank West, turns, spins, does everything he possibly can to keep going north and south and try and get his team in better field position.
Second down and 7. Second and long for Kerwin Bell. First time on this drive they've faced a second and long situation. Bell flush from the pocket, sack. It's Montford again. His 3rd sack of the game.
Well, the biggest thing they're doing right now they're playing with Toronto's offensive line. The offensive line is looking at each other. They're talking to each other. They got some questions. They're running stunts now. That's his 3rd sack of the day by Montford. But what he does, if you can see what he'll come across and he'll come around, and you'll see him coming around in your screen right now. There he comes. There's Gonzalo. There's Montford coming around from the outside. Makes a great job, picks the offensive lineman and finds an opening. You can see him at the bottom of your screen here, running a stunt, coming around to the opening. Doesn't get picked up by Jude St. John.
There's an example. We talked about Montford going inside and out. That time he went way inside, faked outside on Willie Williams then moved 3 positions over and came right through the center spot. Bobby Olive takes the ball on the run. The punt from Prefontaine and doesn't get much on the run back. Sent out of bounds right into the Argo bench where there's more pushing and shoving, and Joe Montfort savors his 3rd sack of this football game in Hamilton. Joe Montfort is a vocal leader of this Hamilton defense, but he also backs it up by example. Chris?
Well, I tell you what, one of the things he does is they'll rush perfectly. You see him right down here in the bottom of your screen. As we roll it now, you're going to see he's going to take 1 step up to freeze the tackle. Willie Williams comes around to the outside. Jude St. John 66 can't pick him up. Great tackle, great play, and that's how you mess up an offensive line and get some pressure on a quarterback.
Right through the center of that Argo offensive line, following his own blocking, if it were. And now he's got 14, opening a lead atop the sack count in the CFL. First down, Tiger Cats deep in their own zone just across the 20. McManus far side, nearly picked off by Abraham, who got a jump on that one.
Well, that is just, he threw the ball. I think he expected Darren Flutie to come back to that football. Darren kind of broke it, and Darren's kind of hitting himself on the chest saying, my bag. He broke it back, and Darren just kept going straight, and you're right. Abraham should have took that back in the end zone.
Quarterbacks and receivers, often when there are multiple routes to be run, reading a defense, have to be on the same page. There has to be a trust there. Obviously, McManus and Flutie misreading that situation. Second down and 10. Ball at the Hamilton 22-yard line. Screen pass to Archie Amerson. He's got lots of room. Amerson cuts left, follows some blocking. Now down the far sideline, and finally pushed out of bounds by Maurice Miller.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only do you want to use your offensive line as blockers, but if you can use the referee, use the referee. That's what Archie Amerson did on this play. He got a nice screen pass, starts taking off, and uses it right here. You can see the referee right there.
Took out O'Shea.
Picks up O'Shea. Hey, you got to have a little luck sometimes. Maybe, we got to find out the birthplace of that referee.
Jermaine Haley and Maurice Miller finally chasing Amerson out of touch, coming all the way from the defensive line position on that play. First down, Tiger Cats at their own 50. Some pressure. McManus out of the pocket, and he's sacked. Jermaine Haley, who was in on the last play from Butte College, drags McManus down for a loss of 5 yards.
Well, you haven't seen that happen very often. I tell you what, they're trying to run a cross pattern right now. They do a good job of covering it. Danny tries to roll out to the left to try and get the ball open. Gets tracked down by Jermaine Haley, and that's the 9th sack this offensive line has only given up this year. See him right now with a nice shoestring tackle.
9 sacks, amazing when you consider McManus is not mobile. Can't escape the rush. So his offensive line has been doing a stalwart job. 2nd and 15. McManus going deep down the far sideline. Morreale tries to bring it in with one hand, but it's too high, and so it's a punting situation for the Tiger Cats.
And one of the things that I'm noticing right now is that the Toronto defensive line is starting to get some pressure. We talked about the good job, the actual great job that Hamilton offensive line has been doing all day. In the last couple series, they're starting to get to Danny, and he's starting to force the throws again.
McManus heading to the sidelines. Drive killed by his errant pass. Osbaldiston will stop at his own 30, getting set to punt. Mike O'Shea just finished having words with the official that blocked him on that Archie Amerson run. Not much he can do about it now. Osbaldiston with the win. A stiff win from left to right. A knuckleball. Driving Steve Smith back. He drops the ball. It's loose and recovered by the Cats. Jeff Cummins has the ball for Hamilton.
Well, who'd have thunk it there, big man?
Steve Smith has been jittery all game.
Well, he fumbled the first one in the first quarter. It went off his chest. The same thing happened again. We know the wind can play tricks with the ball. It'll get a dry spell and drop suddenly. But that one got away from him and it bounced away from where he couldn't recover in time to recover it like he did in the first quarter. And Jeff Cummings, as you said, Johnny on the spot, giving Hamilton excellent field position.
Hit the left hand of Smith and got away 5 yards worth, and there was Jeff Cummins. Great pursuit on the cover team for the Cats. A big man at 6'6", 270, hustling down to get that one. Jeff Cummins puts the Cats in good field position. First down at the Argo 22. McManus across the middle. Dangerous there. Nearly picked off. Lester Smith, who's twice left this football game with head injury problems, is back.
And one of the reasons Lester Smith leads the Argonauts in interceptions is that he's so intelligent. He sees Danny, he reads Danny where Danny wants to throw the ball. He knows that Danny's trying to get it to Flutie coming across the middle and cuts on it. You can see him just come in there and get his hand on it. That's a great job coming from the free safety spot to prevent a touchdown.
Just nicked that pass from McManus to prevent what looked like a sure touchdown pass. McManus empties the Hamilton backfield. Straight back for Bobby Olive. He's got it. There's a flag on the play. Olive struggles to get to the first down marker, but is brought down about 2 yards short on the coverage from Fakir Brown. The call will go against the Argonauts.
Well, just when you think the momentum is starting to switch back to Toronto, they get a break, and now the momentum is definitely in Hamilton's backyard right now.
7:32 to play in this football game. And the Cats threatening to put a strong hold on it.
Offside, Toronto, number 54. Second down repeated.
Well, Jeremy O'Day, who is a backup guard on offense, is called for being offside on that play. Perhaps a mix-up by the official. Perhaps he was thinking of 94 Todrick McIntosh.
I'm sure he was.
Second down and 5. A break for the Cats. The ball now spotted at about the 16-yard line. McManus, quick shot. Flutie has it, breaks a tackle, tries to get across the 10. Lester Smith again. He's been a workhorse in that secondary. The Cats fans, though, sensing the goal line. It's a first down. First down, Cats. Just shy of the Argo 10. And this football game has come to the crossroads.
Well, this is a big play. Toronto cannot afford to give a big play up to Hamilton right now with only 6:40 left in the game.
Flutie was 3-4 yards short of that marker, but with the effort, got the first down for Hamilton. Again, McManus empties the backfield. Throws for Flutie. He's got it at the 5 and is hit hard. Donald Smith, who can put a lick on you, brings Flutie down for a 5-yard gain.
Mark, you mentioned earlier about how the fact that Hamilton may not have the quickest receivers, but they're so intelligent, and another fact, they catch the ball in traffic. And that's what you're seeing right now. Flutie coming back and holding on to the ball.
Darren Flutie, all 175 pounds, can take a licking and keeps on ticking. Second down and 5. The first down marker is just shy of the goal line. Cats can get a first down without going in. McManus pumps once. He's got coverage. Touchdown! Hamilton! Andrew Brigg has the ball.
Well, they're marking him at the 1-yard line. That would be interesting to look again. I thought
he was in and out of the end zone.
I thought the ball had crossed the plane, and that's the only thing you have to have.
Now the fans are irate.
But there is a situation where if he's bobbling the ball as he crosses, it'll be counted as when he has full control of the football. And that was when he was on the 1-yard line.
Can't believe it. The look on his face says it all. Here's the play again.
You can see it right now. Danny does a great job of getting away from the sack by Haley.
Hard to see there whether he was in. Looked like he had 1 foot over the line, but of course the ball has to break the plane.
You can see the ball does break the plane right there.
That's a touchdown.
That should be a touchdown. But he does not have control, and that's what the referee is looking at.
And so it's a third down situation with the ball on the 1-yard line, and Lancaster is fuming again.
Well, he is fuming, and if you look at that play when we saw it last time, as he got hit, the ball was still
Ronnie's losing it. Lancaster is upset.
Well, if you don't think the coaches get intense in this game, you got another thing coming.
Third down on the 1. The give to Amerson. He's up and over. Remember, the first down marker is shy of the goal line.
Well, he should have got the first down. We'll see where they mark the ball. This is going to be crucial. Whenever you leave your feet as a running back, a lot of times they won't give you forward progress. They'll give it to you where you get knocked back.
This may be a first down, even though it wasn't a touchdown. And here come the sticks. Another look along the goal line.
Well, you take a look here. They get up. 94 comes in, makes the play right there. Where the ball hit, that's where it should be. Not where he got knocked back, and they have given him a first down.
The Cats have got a first down. And so that placement of the first down marker, a foot from the goal line, is crucial for the Cats.
Take a look at Mike O'Shea. He sees it right now. He knows where the ball's going. He knows where Amerson's going. He gets in there and knocks him back. But unfortunately, the ball gets down close enough where they can mark it for a first down. That's what they got.
They'll bring the ball back out to the 1 and spot it. First and goal, Ticats at the Toronto 1. The give to Amerson. Bounces. Bonner's got him. Keeps going, and the Argos deny the goal line. Lancaster is still fuming.
Just a great job by the right side of the defensive line. Haley and McIntosh just come back in here. Watch O'Shea reading, skating down the line, as it were, filling any possible hole. Comes in there, wraps him up right there. Bonner initially stopped him.
This is where the Ticats really miss Ronald Williams. 210-pound running back out with a leg injury. All they've got is 170-pound Archie Amerson against all of these big hogs. Sneak from McManus. Touchdown. Hamilton Tiger Cats.
And Mark, I was just going to make that point. You may not have big Ronald Williams in there, all 210 pounds of him, but Danny Mack's no slouch. Danny Mack's got 200 pounds on his frame. You got a big offensive line in there. Watch the takeoff. Watch the takeoff. And he just pushes his way in there. Great surge by the offensive line. It's a battle of who can get under who. And on that particular play, the Hamilton Tiger Cat offensive line got underneath the Toronto defensive line.
The Cats bulldoze the Argos, and Lancaster allows himself to savor and enjoy that one after being upset at that call on Andrew Grigg. Osbaldiston with the convert. It's good. The Ticats open a 23-7 lead on the Argonauts with 3:55 to go in this football game. The Labor Day Classic is all Hamilton in the late stages. Tiger Cats with a firm grip on the Argonauts, leading 23-7 with 3:55 to play in this Labor Day Classic. One more look at the surge of that O-line.
Take a look at this. This is what you want to see when you start rolling it right now. Watch the hands. Look how low they are. They're dragging on the turf. You're crabbing. That's how you get under the defensive lineman. That's the way to get your quarterback into the end zone.
Danny McManus with his second touchdown of the season on the sneak. And a 23-7 lead. Big wind helping that kickoff from Osbaldiston, taken by Steve Smith on his goal line. He's got some speed and is dropped by Don Pronick at the 25-yard line. The Argos have the ball when we come back to Ivor Wynne. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne as we look at the Wall of Fame here in Hamilton, featuring some of the all-time greats, and certainly a man who is destined to the CFL Hall in the near future. Joining us now here in the booth, Doug Flutie of the Buffalo Bills, just off a stellar performance in relief yesterday in San Diego with 2 touchdown passes. Unfortunately, it comes just short, 16-14 to San Diego.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great atmosphere to play football in. I felt comfortable, and we had the game within hand, but let it slip away.
Doug, you were the star of this game 1 year ago in a 46-3 rout of the Cats. What do you think so far?
Well, it was Darryl Mitchell making a nice grab. You know, the Argos have a lot of weapons, and they put some numbers on the board the first time these two teams played, but they've struggled. The Hamilton defense has really played well.
How much has your offense, your old offense, changed now with a classic drop-back passer in Kerwin Bell?
Well, it's a lot of the same sets, a lot of the same type of ideas, but John Jenkins likes an upfield passing game. He likes to go up the field a little more, and he's instilled that with Kerwin Bell.
Bell yet to stretch this Ticat defense. Another bad snap. He falls on it, and a big loss for the Argonauts. Mike Philbrick in on the tackle. Chad Folks shotgun snap into the feet of Bell.
They've also done a lot more with Daryl Mitchell and trying to get him the ball in different ways and running the shovel passes with him, the screens with him, and things of that nature.
Well, it looks like Mitchell's getting Pinball's passes and Pinball's getting Drummond's handoffs, and a changing complexion to this Argo offense, and they need some might here, down 23-7 to Hamilton. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne Stadium. 2:59 to go. The Cats leading the Argos 23-7. A reminder that coming up right after this game, it's part 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader, the Battle of Alberta, the Eskimos and the Calgary Stampeders. Second and long. Argos. Bell with time in the pocket. Is flushed and sacked from behind. Montfort puts a lick on Bell and he fumbles the ball. Joe Montfort's 4th sack of the game.
Well, they won't give him the sack, they'll give him the fumble recovery, but I tell you what, he just persisted, and they finally came over, and he came from the backside all the way around, got the hit on Kerwin, caused the fumble, and recovered it himself.
Kerwin was doing what he felt he had to do. He had to stay back and try to go upfield with the ball, give himself an opportunity to get the first down. So he stayed behind the line of scrimmage, looking, held on to it too long.
And that's where a quarterback has to have that 6th sense. Not much you can do about that.
No, he needs that eye in the back of his head is what he needs there.
Joe Montfort, a wrecking crew for the Tiger Cats in this one. And with 2:45 to go, the Cats have the ball back. First down at the Hamilton 45. The handoff to Archie Amerson, and there's nowhere to go. Doug, before you head back down to the stands, I know you want to see your brother Darren after the game. What about next week? What's the status of Rob Johnson?
Rob should be fine. He had a slight concussion. He got drilled and had 14 stitches in his chin. He looked pretty good last night. Little headache, but he should be fine this week.
Well, Doug, good luck with the Bills. We miss you here.
I appreciate it. Thanks
for coming up.
I miss you guys.
Doug.
Thanks.
Second down for the Tiger Cats, second and long situation, 9 yards to go. The ball just across the Toronto 45. Fake handoff to Amerson. The screen pass, and it's all botched up. And you can thank Jermaine Haley on the Argo defense for that one.
Well, they got, the object of any kind of screen pass is to hit the defensive lineman for a little bit, then release them. But the cardinal sin is never release them too soon because it disrupts the screen, and that's what happened. As you said, Jermaine Haley got in there a little too early, disrupted it, threw it before he had to. They're going to get the ball back. This is what you want to do if you're Toronto.
And Kerwin Bell is tough. There goes Danny Mack after a foiled series, but Kerwin Bell has taken shots like that before and come back even stronger.
Well, I think if you look at knowing Donnie Matthews' teams, there's still 2 minutes, but in the CFL, you can still put points on the board, and I'm sure he's telling them we still have time.
Paulus Balderson to punt for the Tiger Cats. Good news out of Calgary. That game is blacked out, but CDC Television will broadcast the Battle of Alberta in its entirety following the late local news, so check your local listings. Steve Smith handles this one, a spiraling shot in his end zone, and driven out of bounds by Kyle Walters, shy of the 10-yard line, and there's a flag on the play.
Well, this will be an interesting play because if it's against Hamilton, it's going to give Toronto better field position. But they're calling rough play on Toronto.
So more bad blood along the sideline.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto number 97, first down.
And something you're not used to seeing, Mark, a little bit of lack of discipline for a Donnie Matthews football team at the end.
Yes. Maurice Miller with the penalty.
Now get a 28-point fall checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
On their own 4-yard line, the Argos are in tough. Bell in his end zone. Screen pass to Pinball. That was dangerously close to being picked off by Montfort. Joe Montfort having a red-letter day in Hamilton.
Well, they may be calling it the Montfort Classic after this. Watch this. He beats right around the corner, takes him for sack number 1. Here's number 2. He's just going to keep working, runs a stunt, gets sack number 2. And, of course, watch this one. Here he comes around the corner, and boom! Welcome to Hamilton, Mr. Bell.
The Ticat Deco The imprint left on the back of Bell's helmet. Second down, Bell in his own end zone, rolling right. He's got time, and he throws the ball out of bounds. And Montford has a few words.
And the thing you got to give credit where they're only rushing 3 guys in that. You got 5 guys blocking 3. Now we know that for the majority of the game, Toronto offensive line has given Kerwin Bell some good protection. But when you're rushing 3 players, you should not be near the quarterback. And they'll be hearing about that in the film session tomorrow.
Pigskin Pete rallying the Cat fans with another rendition of Oski Wee Wee. And the Cats are eating the Argos raw. Once again, the good news from the West. CBC Television will rebroadcast the Battle of Alberta, which is blacked out at 12:30 local time in Alberta only. Noel Prefontaine back 10 yards deep in his end zone to punt for the Argos. There's a whistle. Prefontaine fakes the run, then hoofs it on the run, and is taken by Steinauer at the 40. He gets about 6 across the 35, but there was a whistle during the course of that play, and that threw some players.
Well, yeah, especially when it's during the middle of the play. It's almost like the play has started. How do you stop? And I know it's almost like in a hockey game when you hear whistles, the players won't stop because of that, because they think it's if somebody in the stands blowing a whistle.
Well, it looked like Prefontaine hesitated for a minute when the whistle came, then finally got the ball off just barely.
He's been talking to the referee about that, and I think he was a little disturbed that he got hit, but when you take off with the ball or look like you're going to run with the ball, you got to be able to handle what comes with it. That means you might have some contact.
Eric Carter leading the cheering section on the north side here at Iberwin. He set the tone early with a couple of tough shots, one of them perhaps a little late on Nigel Williams. The Cats now grinding their way up through the Argos defense, and there's some more pushing and shoving, some eye gouging and face mask grabbing.
Well, you got Val St. Germain, getting it into it with Todd McIntosh right now. You know what? There's a lot of pride in line right now. When you build up this much emotion to play in a 60-minute football game, at the end, if you think you're out of it, you're going to start getting some anger.
Sellout here at Iberwin Stadium, and of course a sellout of 38,000 awaiting the Battle of Alberta. The Eskimos and Stampeders in first place, tied at 6-3 going into this one. They give up the middle, and a big gain on the play by Jarrett Smith, the rookie from the University of Waterloo. First down.
Well, now the referees are going to try and take control of this game before it gets out of hand. On that play, Val St. Germain again after the play started blocking. It wasn't very serious, but he hit Mike O'Shea, and the referee was, of course, standing right there through the flag. They're going to try and curtail this type of thing right now and let it finish on a good note.
Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 51, after the play, it's first down.
Well, Carl Coulter with an attack of spontaneous combustion and the penalty. And that will push Hamilton back with 1:20 to go in the football game. Ball now at the Toronto 33-yard line.
You can see on that play that it was Carl Coulter, not Val St. Germain, and maybe Michael Shea made a sweat joke. I'm not sure, but obviously Carl did not take kindly to it.
So the first down that was achieved by Smith is wiped out. He gets the ball again and is mauled by McIntosh. Short game.
This is probably the favorite time of the game if you're on Hamilton's bench. You know you're up by 15 points. You're just sitting there. You're enjoying the game now. You want this last 1 minute and 15 to last forever, even though you want it to end, so you can rub it in their face right now.
Time ticking on the clock. 1:06 and counting. McManus using all of the time he gets, the 20 seconds between plays. Eye backfield. The give again around the left side. Jarrett Smith, and he's got a first down, and he packs a wallop.
This is a new horse. Where did they find this guy? They must have brought him out of the stables.
Rookie out of the University of Waterloo, a CIAU product, who came into this game with 10 carries for 58 yards.
Well, you like the way this kid runs the ball. I don't care if it's the end of the game and maybe the Toronto defense is not as fired up. But I tell you what, he puts his head down, turns the corner, and runs over people. Got to appreciate that in a running back.
Well, a good find for the Tiger Cats in Jarrett Smith. 5'11", 210 yards, and there is the tail of the tape. For the Tiger Cats, 288 total yards. Danny McManus with 247, back on track. The give again to Smith. Trudges through the middle of that Argo defense, using up valuable time with 46 seconds to go, and another flare-up and more flags.
Well, this is a strange one because you got a defensive back knocking over an offensive lineman over the pile. They threw the flag on Toronto, but you know, right now it's a frustrating point right now. Toronto's offensive line, or Hamilton, excuse me, is coming off the ball and just dictating the pace to Toronto, rubbing, as they say, the salt into the wounds, trying to knock them back.
Toronto number 10.
So Antonius Bonner is called for unnecessary roughness, and that moves the ball all the way to the Toronto 6. This is rubbing salt in the wounds as we take a look at sold-out McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Battle of Alberta just moments away, folks. Stay tuned for part 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader. 46 seconds to go. The Cats with a comfortable lead. They've got the game in hand. Will they rub the ball into the end zone and rub the Argos' nose in it? Here's Smith. He's yet to score a touchdown in the CFL. He gets to about the 3-yard line.
Well, you know what? I think they do want to score another touchdown. I don't think it's a question of down the clock and go out with a win. It's revenge time. Now it comes down to personal one-on-one battles. Everybody on that offensive line wants to bury somebody on that defense and rub it in and get that running back. If they get Jared Smith a touchdown, so be it.
Montford and Vaughn both had a hand in this great defensive performance by the Cats. Montford, of course, with 4 sacks. 2nd down and 3. 2nd and goal. Hamilton, the give to Jarrett Reed. Fake! What a fake! Bootleg by McManus. Oh! He had Andrew Grigg wide open and they couldn't complete the play. McManus could have run with it.
Well, I think he was thinking about running it, but the kind of guy he is he'll spread it around. He'll give it up rather than get it himself. Nice job. The fans are screaming. They'd like him to go for the touchdown. They want to rub it in Toronto's face too.
Ron Lancaster is a class act and won't do it as he sends his kicking team onto the field. Osbaldiston will attempt the field goal. It's Kerwin Bell and the rest of the Argos watch on disconsolate at their performance here today. Just into the hands and out of Andrew Grigg. They looked at each other for an eternity, it seemed.
It may seem like an eternity now.
10-yard field goal from Osbaldiston is good. He has not missed one here today. Danny McManus is back on his game. 26-7, the Hamilton lead with 15 seconds to go in the game.
Well, we talked about the defenses and how they'd be so important. And boy, I tell you what, Hamilton came to play today. The defensive backs, we talked to Eric Carter yesterday, and he said Nigel Williams and the crew will not have big days against us. And hey, true to his word, you got to give credit to the Hamilton secondary. They played a fantastic game today.
And the player of the game for Hamilton, clearly, Joe Montford.
Oh, without exception. I mean, 3.5 sacks and caused a fumble. He did his job.
There's another hero for the Cats. Paul Osbaldiston. Only 2 other players have played in this black and gold uniform longer. Garney Henley and Rocky DiPietro. More than 200 games of service for Paul Osbaldiston. More than 2,000 points for the Tiger Cats, and he was simply perfect today. Bell leaves the game. Jay Barker, the rookie at quarterback, as the Argos mop up. 10 seconds to go. The pinball looking for an opening and gets a couple.
Yeah, Toronto content with just to run out the clock, trying to hand it off to pinball, see if they can get something.
You know how these people just love what's happened here today. Ticat fans, 18 busloads went to Toronto 2 weeks ago for that shellacking. And now more than 30,000 have witnessed the first victory in 7 games against the Argonauts for Hamilton. Here's pinball. What happened there? It's a game of rugby. Go! The Cats have the ball. That's Frank West. Pushed out of bounds as time runs out.
Well, he can't enter the penalty, but that was an illegal lateral. It was a forward pass, so they would have called it dead right there, and then it became a game of, as you say, rugby. Who can form the best scrum, and they try to take it in the end zone. And that, my friends, is the game.
The Tiger Cats break a streak of 7 consecutive losses to the Argonauts with a 26-7 victory over the Argos here on Labor Day, making up for a 46-3